I started as the master of Jin Feng's Yulu, astonishing the world with a single sword. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 701, Night Attack on the Imperial Master's Mansion. Melee breaks out. Everyone, isn't that what you think? Otherwise, with just the falling dawn pearl, I'm afraid you won't be able to invite so many masters, Emperor Wu Hao said. Get started, no more nonsense. At this time, the burly man said. They did have that idea. After stepping into the sea and concentrating their minds, they wanted to break through and step into the heavenly gate, but they felt that something was missing. This thing is the luck of the rivers and lakes. The Zhou Emperor of the Great Zhou dynasty cut off the luck of the world and accommodated himself, leaving them with no way out. Now the Zhou Emperor is suspected to have broken through and was injured, and is looking for another breakthrough. This is their chance. The Zhou Emperor didn't say anything. Even if he was injured, the martial artists in the rivers and lakes didn't dare to attack him. There are so many masters in the palace, and there is also the military department in charge of the world. So they didn't dare to touch the Zhou Emperor, so they started from other aspects. If the Emperor Master, the master of the Zhou Emperor, was killed, then the world would inevitably change. The rivers and lakes would be in chaos, and the rivers and lakes would be in chaos, and the world would follow suit, and then they would have the opportunity to find a breakthrough and step into the heavenly gate in one step. In that case, let's set off now and send the Emperor Master of the Great Zhou dynasty on his way, Emperor Wu Hao said. After saying this, his figure appeared on the small building. Today we will kill the Emperor's Master's mansion. Whoever gets the things from the Emperor's Master's mansion will own them. The voice filled the entire valley. Everyone in the valley had murderous intent on their faces. If someone else attacks the masters of the Emperor's Master's mansion, they can just kill the others. Boom. Emperor Wu Hao kicked his foot and rushed out first, with a surging momentum. Behind him, He Yixing and Ke Jing looked at each other and quickly followed. As the three leaders of the Evil Alliance moved, the people in the valley also rushed out quickly, with extremely fast figures. Inside the small building, Tai's Hongtang and Yao Yu looked at each other and took the lead. Seeing this, several people in the room followed, leaving only the Qinglong Club and the 5 people from Xianwu Garden. Fu Hongxue clenched his black longsword and prepared to take people away. 4th Dragon Head, I don't know if you, Qinglong Club, will accept business. At this time, Qin Juan of Xianwu Garden spoke. While speaking, his eyes looked at Song Lunhu, who was wearing a mask. Song Lunhu is also a famous assassin. He doesn't know why Song Lunhu is with the people of the Qinglong Society. Not for the time being. We can talk after the battle at the Imperial Master's Mansion, Fu Hongxue said. The momentum they have gathered these days is all for the Imperial Master. Hearing Fu Hongxue's words, Qin Juan looked at Song Lunhu. I wonder if Brother Lunhu is willing to take a business. Qin Juan said so. In fact, he also wanted to see the relationship between Song Lunhu and Fu Hongxue. Sorry, sir, the 4 dragon heads have decided not to take it for the time being, and I can't take it either. Lunhu Dao, Song Lunhu, I am just a helmsman under the 4 dragon heads. Song Lunhu has decided to join the Qinglong Society, so he will not drag his feet. Now is the opportunity to show his identity. And it can also expand the momentum of the Qinglong Society. Song Lunhu is just a helmsman of the Qinglong Society. If this gets out, it will definitely shock people about the strength of the Qinglong Society. Qin Juan was shocked when he heard Song Lunhu's words. This was totally unexpected. Let's go. Fu Hongxue didn't care about Qin Juan's surprise and led them away. In the house, only 5 people from this Henwu Garden were left. General Manager, this Qinglong Club may become an obstacle for us, except for Song Lunhu and Fu Hongxue. The 3 swordsmen are very difficult to deal with. I sensed an extremely terrifying sword intent from them. Those 3 are probably the top C concentrated masters, and Fu Hongxue is still a little bit behind, the man holding the long sword in his hand said. Do you want us to attack them secretly first? One of the masked people said, his voice was a little old. Qing Lao, our target is the Emperor's Master. As the great leader of the Evil Alliance said, as long as the Emperor's Master dies, the Great Zhou Jianghu will be in chaos, and we will have a chance in chaos. This is also the reason why the owner of the garden agreed to take action. Qin Juan said. "Let's go." After that, the 5 of them followed. They were very fast and soon caught up with the 3 Emperor Wu House. Hundreds of figures rushed into the city. The city was unusually quiet today, and the moonlight seemed a little hazy. There was also a hazy mist. Occasionally, the voice of the night watchman could be heard. It was the 3rd watch, and the night watchman was beating the gong, shouting the world is safe and sound. The night watchman would shout the weather is dry, be careful of fire, to remind everyone to pay attention to fire prevention. The 2nd watch, close the doors and windows to prevent theft. The 3rd watch, the world is safe and sound. Of course, there are also some areas with bright lights. Some places in the capital have curfews, while some do not. In front of the Imperial Master's mansion, dozens of figures rushed out. One of them landed on the gate of the Imperial Master's mansion with 1 foot. Boom! The gate of the Imperial Master's mansion exploded directly, and debris flew. A night patrol guard of the Imperial Master's mansion seemed to sense something and was about to open the door of the Imperial Master's mansion, but someone kicked the door to pieces. He flew backwards and spurted out a mouthful of blood. When the gate was smashed, hundreds of figures rushed into the Imperial Master's mansion. The 3 figures of Emperor Wu Hao, who were in the lead, fell. When they fell, countless torches suddenly appeared around the Imperial Master's mansion, instantly illuminating the entire Imperial Master's mansion like daylight. Wow! In front of them, a man in black armor and holding a long halberd was standing outside the hall, followed by hundreds of soldiers holding long swords. The evil spirits on these soldiers gathered. Moreover, hundreds of archers in black appeared on the houses in the Imperial Master's mansion. "This general has been waiting for you for a long time. I really want to see what you guys have to dare to break into the Imperial Master's mansion," the man holding the long halberd said coldly. While he was talking, a figure suddenly rushed out from the dark. And this figure appeared and killed the man holding the long halberd with a palm. The palm was filled with black air, and it was a person who practiced poison. The strength was vaguely only the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. This is a killer who wants to kill one person to become famous. Ants. Tisk. When the man in black was about to approach the black-armored man, the man suddenly swung out the long halberd in his hand, directly slashing the other's palm with the halberd, and then the back of the halberd turned and hit the other's body. Bang! The man in black spurted blood, and his whole body flew out, hitting the ground, vomiting blood, and he was dead in an instant. Killed one person with 1 strike. The black-armored man waved his hand. The archers on the house shot arrows instantly, like a rain of arrows, attacking everyone. Kill. At this time, the man in the silver robe moved his body and rushed out among these arrows, and waved his palm and robe, shooting all the arrows backwards in an instant. Tisk, tisk. Some archers fell from the house in an instant, blood spurting. Someone took action, and some people behind Emperor Wu Hao also dispersed at the same time. Their purpose was to deal with the guards of the Emperor's mansion. Kill. Hundreds of figures rushed out at the same time. Kill. The man in a suit also held a long spear and led hundreds of people to kill these people. For a while, the shouts shook the sky. Chapter 702, Mutation, Traitor in Zhenwu Garden. I'll stop Peimuyan, you guys go deeper. At this time, the middle-aged man with an ordinary face in the small building stepped out, his veins popped out, and a fierce aura filled the air. And this fierce aura formed a fierce tiger. The abandoned disciple of the 5 tigers of Shu, Duan Xianhu. I didn't expect it to be you. Today this general will kill you. The man in black armor raised the long halberd in his hand, and his aura surged, and he was also filled with this murderous aura. The general fought hundreds of battles and killed countless people, and he himself carried a murderous aura. Divine power, tigers fall to the world. Divine power, 1 halberd cuts the sky. The 2 of them burst out with terrifying divine power. The 2 forces collided, and the terrifying airwaves rolled. The figure was shocked back. Military power, Peimuyan, who was shocked back, shouted in a low voice, and a terrifying and powerful aura emerged from the hundreds of soldiers behind him. The long halberd slashed out again, and Duan Xianhu, who had not yet stabilized his body, could only roar and punch out after the long halberd slashed out. Just by this blow, he retreated further, his knuckles cracked and blood appeared. Chi-chi. At this moment, a figure appeared behind the hundreds of people. The man holding the sword was extremely fast and killed several people in a blink of an eye. However, these soldiers were well trained and quickly gathered together. We can't delay, let's find the Emperor's master first. Seeing this, Emperor Wu Hao shouted in a low voice and headed towards the depths of the Emperor's master's mansion. Their goal is the Emperor's master. Deep in the Emperor's mansion, a red brick hall. An old man in a brocade robe and a black beard was sitting on the main chair in the hall. His aura was dark and his face was expressionless. It seemed that the deafening shouts in the Emperor's mansion had nothing to do with him. This person was Chu Yanwu, the Emperor's master of the Great Zhou dynasty. Below him stood 3 men who were also dressed in tight clothes. The 3 looked solemn. "Father, there are many strong men coming this time. The Emperor of Zhou has mobilized all the masters to the palace and cannot help us," one of them said. This man was wearing a purple brocade robe and had extremely large palms. He was a master of palm kung fu. It was Chu Luoshin, the son of the imperial master. The other 2 were the 2 retainers who had been following the imperial master. "After today, we have no relationship with Emperor Zhou." When mentioning Emperor Zhou, the imperial master Chu Yanwu sighed. "Originally, we thought that by assisting Emperor Zhou, he could help us enter the heavenly gate, but his ambition was too great, and he didn't even want to enter the heavenly gate just like that. In that case, we can only part ways with him. His ambition is too great, and after entering the heavenly gate, we will encounter greater dangers. Those of us who follow him may become cannon fodder in the end, but he did give me a good hint, and I may be able to take advantage of this opportunity to enter the heavenly gate." A gleam of brilliance appeared in the eyes of the imperial master Chu Yanwu. An extremely terrifying aura also appeared on his body, but this aura flashed by. "Let's go and see who is coming." While the imperial master was speaking, he stood up and walked out of the hall. Chu Luosheng and the other 2 followed the imperial master out of the hall. There were fires everywhere in the imperial master's mansion, and shouts of killing continued. When he stepped out of the hall, dozens of figures appeared outside the courtyard. However, these dozens of people were scattered. 5 people from the Qinglong Society gathered together, 5 people from Zhenwu Garden, 2 people from Tai's Hongtang and Yaoyu, and 3 people from the Evil Alliance. There was also a man in a silver robe and a man in black, and they stood together. Boom! The leader, Emperor Wu Hao, punched out, and the wall blocking their courtyard collapsed instantly. 4 figures appeared in front of everyone. "Is this the Emperor's master?" Tai's Hongtang looked at the black-bearded old man in the lead, his eyes slightly condensed, and his aura was hidden, but a terrifying aura was revealed invisibly. Looking at Emperor Wu Hao, the Evil Alliance's target is Zhenwu Garden, but now in this situation, how to play is the key. Compared with Tai's Hongtang, Fu Hongxue and others all looked at the Emperor's master. The purpose of their coming is to kill the Emperor's master, just to see how strong this Emperor's master is. The Zhou Emperor can overwhelm the great Zhou Jianghu. As an imperial teacher, his strength must be the best among all the heroes. Zeman Chuxu, Yi Guchen, and Yam Shizhen exuded terrifying sword energy. At this time, the masked Emperor Wu Hao looked at this situation, his eyes slightly condensed. He sent a voice message to Tai's Hongtang. "It is said that the Qinglong Society has some friendship with you, Xian'ai Pavilion. Can they not take action for the time being?" Hearing this, Tai's Hongtang sent a voice message. "Maybe not. The Qinglong Society has no friendship with my Xian'ai Pavilion. The one who has friendship with us, Xian'ai Pavilion, is the young dragon leader of the Qinglong Society." Hearing this, the masked Emperor Wu Hao was stunned. "Previously, I got the information that the young dragon leader of the Qinglong Society had contact with the 10 Directions General Envoy of Xian'ai Pavilion, and I thought that Xian'ai Pavilion had a relationship with the Qinglong Society. Unexpectedly, it was only the young dragon leader of the Qinglong Society, Chen, who had some friendship with Xian'ai Pavilion. Emperor Master, you have lived a glorious life. Today, the Evil Alliance wants to send you off. We will help the Evil Alliance." When Emperor Wu Hao was communicating with Tai's Hongtang, Qin Juan of Zhenwu Garden spoke. At this moment, the people who surrounded and killed the Emperor Master were much more than the powerful concentrated spirit masters who surrounded and killed Emperor Wu Hao at that time. "With just 2 people, you want to kill me hundreds of years ago?" the Emperor Master said coldly. There was a sense of arrogance in his words. "Emperor Master, there are so many concentrated spirit masters here. No matter how strong you are, you can't leave the Emperor Master's mansion today. Emperor Zhou doesn't care whether you live or die, no one can save you," Qin Juan said. His eyes were looking at the Evil Alliance leader Emperor Wu Hao. Among the three leaders of the evil alliance, only this leader is stronger, and the other two are not in his eyes at all. Do you think that all these people here are your people? The Emperor Master said coldly. Hearing this, Qin Juin's eyes condensed, and he looked at the Qinglong Society, Tai's Hong Tang, and the silver-robed man. He didn't believe that the Emperor didn't know about the siege of the Imperial Master. He believed the Emperor's words completely. Among these people, there was the Emperor's man. Bang! Just as he was speaking, a figure behind him suddenly attacked the person next to him, and his palm was hard on the person's chest. The figure who was hit spurted out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards into the distance. The mask on the face of the man who was knocked away by a palm fell off, and the cloak also fell off. It was the ascetic from this Henwu garden. He looked at the person who attacked, and the person who attacked had already landed beside the Emperor. Greetings, Emperor. While speaking, the person took off the cloak and mask, revealing his true face. It was Qing Lao from this Henwu garden. You are from the Imperial Master's mansion. Q Xingchuo was angry, blood spurting out of his mouth, looking at Qing Lao with ferocious eyes. He was on guard against other people, but not Qing Lao who came with him. Chapter 703, Imperial Master, second leader of the Evil Alliance, Qinglong Society, Imperial Master must be killed. I'm originally from the Imperial Master's mansion. Qing Lao stood behind the Imperial Master with a calm expression. The scene changed. But no one appeared afterwards. It was just that the atmosphere became very depressing. The Evil Alliance is now ready to take action. How long are you waiting? Qin Juin looked at Emperor Wu Hao and said. Even if Qing Lao betrayed him, what could he do? There were still so many concentrated masters here, not to mention that he still had a medicine man who had not appeared yet. If these people surrounded and killed the Imperial Master would not be able to escape. At this moment, the masked Emperor Wu Hao's aura surged, and He Yixing and Ke Jing retreated to the side. A fierce look appeared in the eyes of Emperor Wu Hao. He suddenly turned around and attacked Qin Juin. A terrifying energy burst out from his palm. Qin Juin's face changed as he spoke, but because of Qing Lao's betrayal, Qin Juin had already become alert. Seeing that Emperor Wu Hao was attacking him, he suddenly exerted force on his palm and slapped it out, colliding with Emperor Wu Hao's palm. The two forces collided. The airwaves rolled and the two people retreated violently. Evil Alliance, what do you want to do? Qin Juin pulled off the mask on his face and stared at Emperor Wu Hao with a poisonous wolf-like look. He didn't understand why Emperor Wu Hao attacked him. General Manager, I'm afraid we have been calculated. This Evil Alliance is in the same group with Emperor Master and others, the man holding the long knife beside Qin Juin said solemnly. Hearing the words of the man holding the knife, the silver-robed man and the man in black changed their expressions slightly. They turned around and wanted to leave. But behind Emperor Master, two strong men in strong clothes turned into after-images and appeared in front of the two people. You can't leave. A low voice came out from the mouths of the two people, and their palms suddenly slapped out, blocking the way of the two people. Seeing this, the silver-robed man punched out with his hand, and the long sword in the hand of the black-clothed man burst out, and a silver sword light instantly shot out, forming a terrifying sword energy. Bang bang! The four fought, and the energy burst out at once. Divine power, the broken silver hand, divine power, the killing sword. After one blow, the silver-robed man and the black-haired man directly launched divine power. Divine power, 2 in 1. The divine power of the two people in the Imperial Master's mansion burst out, and this divine power unexpectedly gathered together to form a terrifying divine power, and punched out. Bang! The divine power of the silver-robed man and the black-clothed man was shattered, but their figures appeared in front of the two. One of them made a claw with his palm and attacked. The other one's sword light was sharp, either you die or I die. For a while, the fight was indistinguishable. He Yixing and Ke Jing, the two looked at each other, and instantly attacked. They did not attack the two separately, but attacked the silver-robed man at the same time. Bang! The palms of the two hit the back of the silver-robed man at the same time. The silver-robed man immediately spit out a mouthful of blood, and his body was also tilted out by the palm power. At this moment, the man in the suit turned his palm into a claw and grabbed the opponent's head. Then, he suddenly exerted force and took off the opponent's head in an instant. Puff, blood spurted out. Another swordsman in black was shocked when he saw this. He didn't have time to look at it. He shook the man in the suit away with a sword and wanted to escape. Swish! At this moment, a purple light flashed by. It was very fast and went towards the swordsman in black. Hearing the sound, the swordsman in black turned the long sword in his hand and collided with the purple light. Clang. After blocking it, his body fell to the ground. When he landed, 4 figures rushed towards him. He was no match for the 4 people and was killed by their palms. For a moment, the atmosphere seemed solemn. The 4 dragon heads, evil alliance, may be in the same group with the Emperor's master, Sung Lun, who sent a voice message to Fu Hongxue. Fu Hongxue's face was calm, and there was no change on his face. They were previously wondering how the evil alliance would attack Zhenwu Garden, but now they know that the Imperial Master is a member of the evil alliance. The battle at the Imperial Master's mansion is a trap to lure Zhenwu Garden. If the Zhenwu Garden masters appear here, then Zhenwu Garden will be empty. Kill these people, and then there will be little resistance to attack Zhenwu Garden. Qin Juin's face was as calm as frost. The Imperial Master's mansion is in the same group as you, evil alliance. You are trying so hard to deal with my Zhenwu Garden. Qin Juin looked at the Imperial Master and Emperor Wu Hao and said coldly. Qin Juin is the general manager of Zhenwu Garden, and a person with a delicate mind. At this time, if he still doesn't know the other party's plan, he is too stupid. Look at the Imperial Master. Imperial Master, what is your relationship with the evil alliance? Why help the evil alliance? Set up a trap for us like this. Qin Juin was a little confused. I have another identity, that is, the second leader of the Evil League. At this time, the Imperial Master spoke. What? The second leader of the Evil League? Hearing what the Imperial Master said, Qin Juin's eyes were stunned, and he couldn't help but look at He Yisheng. I'm just a substitute for the adults, He Yisheng said coldly. Hearing what He Yisheng said, Qin Juin's face was ashen. He didn't expect that this time, they, Zhenwu Garden, were counted it. I didn't expect it to be this, but we still have the strength to fight. When Qin Juin spoke, a harsh sound came out of his mouth. When this harsh sound was made, a figure instantly landed in the courtyard. The man was wearing a gray robe, with a terrifying aura on his body, but his eyes were a little dull, and there were several knife marks on his robe. I didn't expect that. I couldn't stop your medicine man. The young old man next to the Emperor's teacher looked at the gray-robed man, and his eyes condensed. Tais Hongtang, Yaoyu, you should have reached an agreement with the Evil Alliance, but I will change the conditions with you. Now my Zhenwu Garden people have gone to Golden Wind and Rain Tower, and Golden Money Gang. As long as you help us leave, the grudge between Zhenwu Garden and Xianaya Pavilion will be wiped out, and I will immediately let the people who attacked return to Zhenwu Garden. Qin Juin looked at Tais Hongtang and Yaoyu and said, there are still 3 people left on their side, plus a medicine man. And Q Xingchuo, who was seriously injured by the sneak attack. They are not at an advantage in strength. Therefore, they must not let Xianaya Pavilion and Evil Alliance join forces. Do you think that when we come, there will be no one in Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower and Jiqian Gang? Our cooperation with Evil Alliance is to take down your Zhenwu Garden, kill you, and then go to your Zhenwu Garden. After today, Xianaya Pavilion will replace your Zhenwu Garden, Tais Hongtang said coldly. General Manager, now we can only break through, Wei Sandao behind him said. While speaking, his black robe shattered, revealing his true body. The man next to him also shattered his black robe to reveal a blood-stained robe, with a sharp light in his eyes. Now, at this time, there is only war. The strong are never afraid of fighting. At this time, the masked Emperor Wu Hao looked at Fu Hongxue of Qinglong Society. 4 dragon leaders, I don't know how you, Qinglong Society, will decide. Fu Hongxue, who heard this, looked calm. We, Qinglong Society, have only one mission, and we will not change the mission, that is to kill the Emperor Master. Fu Hongxue's voice was calm, but it made the originally silent air become solemn. Chapter 704, Fierce Confrontation, Qin Juin, Tais Hongtang. When Emperor Wu Hao heard Fu Hongxue's words, his eyes became condensed. 4th Dragon Head, don't consider it. Emperor Wu Hao looked at Fu Hongxue and said. Emperor Wu Hao, my Qinglong Society does things that are not for fun. Your Evil Alliance's mission is to kill the Emperor Master, so we must kill the Emperor Master. At this time, Yan Shizhen came out and spoke. Hearing this, Emperor Wu Hao's face became condensed. He didn't expect Yan Shizhen to recognize him. His face became gloomy. I didn't expect that the leader of the evil alliance was actually Emperor Wu Hao. It seems that you faked your death and left last time, so it was you who snatched a fake head from the Qinglong Society last time. I didn't expect that you actually tricked you away from me once. Qin Jueden's face looked a little excited at this moment. The evil alliance has exposed the Qinglong Society this time, which made things completely beyond the expectations of the evil alliance. Since the people from the Qinglong Society want to die, I will send them off, and you go kill the people from Xianwu Garden. The Imperial Master spoke at this time. There was a problem with the plan. Then just solve it. When the Imperial Master spoke, Emperor Wu Hao moved and attacked Qin Jueden. He slapped his palm, and the terrifying palm force pushed towards the opponent. At this time, the figure of Qing Lao flashed, and appeared in front of Qiu Xingchuo, who was injured by him before. Qiu Xingchuo struggled to stand up, but a palm appeared on his chest, and then with a bang, blood spurted out of his mouth, and his whole body flew backwards, like a falling ball, rolling on the ground a few times, and he was out of breath. Kill! The longsword in the hand of Wei Sanda of Xianwu Garden instantly slashed out. Divine power, 3 cuts of heaven, earth and man. The first cut, Shai and Meshach. The long sword slashed out with a jet-black blade light that shot up into the sky, like a black lightning, bursting out with a terrifying blade aura. The expression of the old man Qing condensed. After being in Xianwu Garden for so long, he certainly knew how powerful Wei Sanda was. Divine power, soul-stealing hand, the old man Qing roared, and his palm turned black, with a mysterious aura in the black. Boom! The two forces collided. The old man Qing's body was shocked back several steps. And Wei Sandao continued to draw his sword, and the second sword was slashed out in an instant. The sword technique was like a thread that instantly slashed in front of the old man Qing. The old man Qing shouted in a low voice, and continued to slap his palm. The terrifying energy slapped towards the sword light. Swish! But the energy was split by the long sword. The old man Qing's figure turned into a residual shadow and disappeared under the sword light. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Wei Sandao, grabbed his palm, grabbed towards the opponent's chest, and left quickly. And it was accompanied by a harsh sound, affecting Wei Sandao's spirit. Get out! Wei Sanda shouted, and punched out with his left hand, colliding with the opponent. His body was shocked and flew backwards. But at this moment, there was some distance between them. Wei Sanda instantly retracted the long sword in his right hand and slashed out with a knife. The sword light contained terrifying power, tearing the air, and appeared in front of Qing Lao as fast as lightning. Qing Lao clenched his palm into a fist, and the ki force burst out and collided with the sword energy. Swish! The sword light blinked. A blood mark appeared on Qing Lao's chest. The blood mark was not deep, but blood was also overflowing. Wei Sanda, your 3 swords are finished, you die. The pain of the wound made Qing Lao's face become ferocious, and his palm grabbed towards Wei Sandao's head. But when he got close to Wei Sandao showed a ferocious look on his face. Do you think I, Wei Sandao, will only have 3 swords forever? At the moment when Qing Lao approached, Wei Sandao swung his sword again. This time, the sword was faster and more fierce than the previous 3. Swish! Qing Lao was split in half by Wei Sandao's sword, and blood spurted out. Qing Lao, seeing Qing Lao being split in half, Chulu Sheng shot out violently, and a purple light in his hand went towards Wei Sandao at such a fast speed. Wei Sandao turned his hand and swung out a sword to block the purple light. But when blocking the purple light, Chulu Sheng had already appeared in front of Wei Sandao. Divine power, purple falling thunder, a purple lightning force appeared in the palm of his hand, and instantly fell on Wei Sandao's chest, and the terrifying purple lightning instantly surged into Wei Sandao's body. Bang! The whole chest exploded, and blood flew everywhere. Plop! The broken body fell to the ground. Brother Wei. Seeing this, the blood-colored robed man's eyes flashed red. He attacked Chu Luosheng. But he was stopped by a white figure, and it was Yao Yu who stopped him. Since he's here, he has to take action. What's more, at this moment, the 3 great swordsmen of the Qinglong Club have come to the front of the Imperial Master. The strong man who followed the Imperial Master earlier rushed out and tried to stop Yiguchen, Zimin Chuksu, and Yan Shizhen. But when they made their move, Yiguchen and Yan Shizhen suddenly turned around. The long swords in their hands slashed out instantly. Yi Gucheng's swordsmanship is ethereal, which makes people change their minds. Yan Shizhen's swordsmanship is like a demon, which makes people feel fearful. It instantly enveloped the two. After the sword light, the two figures stood still, and then fell to the ground with lifeless eyes. Yu Chu Luosheng's face turned ferocious when he saw this. But he was also afraid of the swordsmanship of the two. Although the two were slightly weaker than him, they were also powerful men with concentrated spirits in the sea. They were killed by the two with a single sword. Boom! After Qin Juyin and Emperor Wu Hao put their palms together, they fell down. Emperor Wu Hao had an aura like a mountain, and so did Qin Juyin. The two had a similar martial arts. Emperor Wu Hao, Emperor Master, it looks like you don't want to win today. Qin Juyin looked at He Yishan while speaking. Suddenly, his sleeve slipped, and a red thing appeared in his palm. He exerted force on his palm. He Yishan, who was standing aside, felt a sharp pain in his stomach. Ah! He let out a scream, rolled on the ground, black blood kept flowing out of his mouth, and he died in a few seconds. Emperor Wu Hao's face was furious. Kill him. At this time, Qin Juyin spoke to the gray-robed medicine man. The gray-robed medicine man, who had not moved, looked at Qin Juyin and let out a low roar. Boom! The roar carried a terrifying mental power and rushed towards the mind of Emperor Wu Hao. And at this moment, the terrifying medicine man suddenly turned into a residual image and appeared in front of Emperor Wu Hao, with his palm like a claw on Emperor Wu Hao's chest. Get out! Emperor Wu Hao roared, dispersing the mental impact, and a terrifying aura appeared around his body, blocking the palm, but his body was still shocked by a terrifying distance and retreated several steps. The medicine man succeeded in one blow. Continue to attack Emperor Wu Hao. Qin Juyin here has taken the opportunity to turn around and want to escape from here. But in front of him, Tai's Hongtang appeared. General Manager Qin, you can't leave today. It just so happens that I also want to see your strength. It is rumored that you have practiced the 9 turns of heavenly demon art, to the 9th level. Tai's Hongtang clenched his palm, and the iron blood flag appeared in his palm. A terrifying iron-blooded aura appeared on his body. Tai's Hongtang practiced the divine power of iron blood unparalleled, inherited the will of the Iron Blood Flag sect, and he was the overlord of the martial arts world. At this moment, Tai's Hongtang had an unparalleled aura of dominance. Qin Juyin was stopped, his eyes became ferocious, and the black aura on his body surged. The last time Tai's Hongtang blocked the door, he did not fight. Now Tai's Hongtang continues to block him, he wants to kill Tai's Hongtang. Chapter 705, Emperor Zhou is watching and planning, the head is left in Golden Wind and Rain Tower. At this time, in the depths of the Imperial Palace, in a palace, Emperor Zhou was sitting cross-legged on a cushion emitting white light. Golden ki flowed around him, and these flowing golden ki formed dragon shapes, swallowing and spitting around him. This golden light was about to burst out of the palace. However, a black blood evil energy condensed in Emperor Zhou's chest. In this black blood evil energy, there was a dark dragon-shaped ki flowing. Compared with the golden dragon-shaped ki, the dragon shape formed by the black blood evil seemed a little small. But this black dragon-shaped ki kept flowing in his body. It kept running and growing. It was very strange that the two different ki did not form a rejection phenomenon in Emperor Zhou's body. After a while, a figure walked over from the dark part of the palace. It was Zhu Pingsheng from the Xianjian division. Sensing Zhu Pingsheng's appearance, Emperor Zhou opened his eyes, but the power in his body seemed to be flowing autonomously. It seems that the fight outside is very fierce. The evil dragon ki in my body is running very fast, Emperor Zhou said. Your Majesty, the Evil League's siege and killing of the Emperor's master was a trap set by the Emperor's master Chu, who was the second leader of the Evil League. The grand leader is the Emperor Wu Hao who was killed earlier, Zhu Pingsheng said. He was surprised by this news. Emperor Zhou had 5 teachers in his life. The first teacher was Li Yunshen, the master of Ziyan Temple. The foundation of Emperor Zhou's martial arts came from this Li Yunshen. The second teacher was Wen Keite of the Wen family, the enlightenment teacher of Emperor Zhou's literature. The third was Chu Yanwu, the teacher who was canonized and stayed in the capital after the attack. The fourth teacher was Zeman Shiant, the ancestor of the Zeman family, one of the 4 major families in Jiangnan. The fifth teacher was Master Yuanzhen of the Lingayan Grotto's temple of the Buddhist Zen sect. Hearing Zhu Pingsheng's words, Emperor Zhou was not very surprised that Chu Yunwu had set up a plan and was the second leader of the Evil League. But when he heard that Emperor Wu Hao was the Grand Leader, his face changed slightly. This matter was beyond his expectations. Although my teacher didn't agree with my idea, he wanted to use this method to gain the luck of the martial arts world and enter the Shineman Gate. His calculations are quite deep. I was wondering why he didn't make any moves. It turns out that he set up the game himself. He also used my hand to set up the game perfectly. This reminds me of the style when he set up the martial arts world, but his methods are still a bit dishonorable as they were back then. But Emperor Wu Hao was beyond my expectations. Emperor Wu Hao was the #1 among the war marquises back then. I was a little confused about his death before. I didn't expect that he actually faked his death and got away. He was also the leader of the Evil Alliance. I was surprised. Who did they set up the game for? Emperor Zhou then asked softly. It was set up for Qin Zhiyun and others in Zhenwu Garden. The Emperor's teacher wanted to take action against Zhenwu Garden. It should be to obtain Zhenwu Garden, Zhenwu Secret Solution, and Zuanwu Inner Pill, Zhu Pingsheng said. Zhenwu Garden is not so easy to plot. The owner of Zhenwu Garden, Yang Su, has been in an uncertain whereabouts for many years. Do you think he is in the capital? Or not? Emperor Zhou said. Your Majesty, do you think Yang Su is in the capital? Zhu Pingsheng said softly. I guess he is in the capital, but I don't know if he will show up when Zhenwu Garden is in trouble. By the way, my teacher should have made arrangements for Zhenwu Garden, right? Emperor Zhou then asked. Your Majesty, the 3C concentrated spirit masters from Black Cloud Village and Heaven Burial Gate who appeared earlier have already hidden outside Zhenwu Garden with some people, and it seems that they are ready to take action at any time. But Your Majesty, Master Chu has actually encountered a big trouble. This trouble was caused by himself. When Zhu Pingsheng said this, a smile appeared on his face. Tell me about it. Emperor Zhou immediately became interested. It's the Green Dragon Society that they invited. 5 people from the Green Dragon Society came, including the 4th dragon leader Fu Hongsu, 3 swordsmen, and the helmsman Song Lunhu of the Wheel of Reincarnation. Well, you said Song Lunhu of the Wheel of Reincarnation is a helmsman of the Green Dragon Society. Hearing this, Emperor Zhou asked with a serious look. Is that the information we have received so far? Zhu Pingsheng nodded. Then he continued. The Green Dragon Society doesn't care whether the Imperial Master is the second leader of the Evil Alliance. They still want to kill the Imperial Master, because their mission is to kill the Imperial Master. They have just killed 2 followers beside the Imperial Master. It seems that the Green Dragon Society is very principled. Isn't it rumored that the Green Dragon Society has a relationship with the Shianaya Pavilion? The people of the Shianaya Pavilion didn't dissuade them, Emperor Zhou asked in confusion. No. And it seems that they have no relationship. The Shianaya Pavilion has said that it will cooperate with the Evil Alliance, but Fu Hongsu still wants to take action against the Imperial Master, Zhu Pingsheng said. It seems that the relationship is not too deep, perhaps it is just a relationship of interests. When it comes to principles, they will not give in. My teacher has created a difficult problem for himself. It seems that he will take action personally. I just don't know if my teacher's strength has improved over the years. Pay close attention to the situation in the Imperial Master's mansion. Notify me immediately if there is any news. Also, I will reverse the meridians in a while. After the golden light in the palace, a blood-red light will appear. You must stop all the people who come in to investigate. If you can't stop them, let them in. If you want to act, you have to do it in full. Let them all know that I am injured. If I am not injured, the world may be a little uneasy, but it will not be what I want, Emperor Zhou said. I understand, Zhu Pingsheng said and walked out from the dark. At this time, Golden Wind and Rain Tower, Bai Tianyu was standing on the pavilion holding the railing. Behind him, Nalan Rongayan was standing, and they were looking at the bottom of the pavilion. In the middle hall below the pavilion, there were 3 people standing. The leading man was wearing a brocade robe, his face was a little white. His fingers were a little slender and wide, and he was well maintained. This is either because he has a mysophobia about his hands, or because he has extraordinary skills. Bai Tianyu, did you know that we would attack you tonight, so you dismissed your people from Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, and stayed behind, wanting to give us your head? One of the leading men looked up at Bai Tianyu and said, I have been waiting for you 3 for a long time. Tonight, the heads of the 3 of you will be left in my Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, Bai Tianyu said calmly. He has obtained the inner strength of heaven and man for 30 years. Now his strength has reached the level of Danshan turning into the sea, and with the help of the boxing gloves he has obtained, his strength is enough to fight against the strong man who has just stepped into the sea and concentrated his mind. What's more, he did not sense any terrifying pressure from the other party, so Bai Tianyu showed up and looked at the other party like this. Looking for death. Hearing Bai Tianyu's words, a fierce murderous intent flashed in the eyes of the leading man. He kicked the ground with his footsteps, and his figure instantly shot out, leaping towards Bai Tianyu. Chapter 706 Duan Xianaya takes action and kills with one blow. His figure was swift, and his palm was fierce. He wanted to start a massacre, massacring the people in Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, but there was no one else in Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, except Bai Tianyu. Then he could just kill Bai Tianyu and take his HUD back. The owner of the building, Nalan Rongayan, who was behind Bai Tianyu, changed her expression, and showed a worried look on her face. No problem, Bai Tianyu waved his hand, jumped down, and slapped his palm, colliding with the other's palm. Bang! The two palm forces collided, and a force of energy raged out from the place where the palms collided, and the surrounding railings collapsed under the force of energy. The two staggered and landed in the middle hall. The strength of the owner of the building, seeing Bai Tianyu blocking the opponent's attack, Nalan Rongayan was slightly stunned. She didn't expect Bai Tianyu to block the opponent's attack. She was surprised by the improvement of Bai Tianyu's strength. At this moment, the man who had landed on the ground looked at Bai Tianyu, who was dressed in white, with his eyes slightly focused. Although he had not used his divine power just now, the palm power he had burst out was extraordinary. Bai Tianyu's strength had been previously investigated, and it was only at the level of the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. He could not withstand his attack. No wonder you dare to stay here alone. You have some skills, but it's just some skills. The man who had made the move raised his hand and his figure rose from the ground. 9 purple shadow-breaking palms, his figure moved, turning into 9 after images, and slapped out at the same time. Because of the extremely fast speed, it gave people the feeling that 9 people slapped out at the same time. Bai Tianyu directly used the shocking finger, and several finger shadows appeared in an instant, pointing at the 9 palms one by one. The key and palm forces collided and broke them, dissolving all the 9 purple shadows shot out by the opponent's palms. Bai Tianyu's shocking finger can attack and defend. The power is like a torrential rain and mercury leaking on the ground. The defense is like a saint's hand playing a pipa, turning the enemy's moves into nothingness. The man who was defeated by Bai Tianyu's palm technique became solemn. You broke my purple shadow 9 breaks with one move. You are not simple. I am Zhen Wuden, Man Feng Su. This time the man who attacked reported his name. Warriors still respect the strong. Bai Tianyu looked solemn. Although he had just broken the opponent's attack, he did not cause much damage to the opponent. If the battle continues like this, it will be extremely disadvantageous to him. Although he has entered the Danshan Transformation Sea, he just fought with the opponent. The opponent's strength is probably more than the Danshan Transformation Sea level. At this moment, the two people behind him. One of them took a step forward and looked at Nalan Rongayan on the pavilion. Elder man, I will go and capture Nalan Rongayan. She may know the secrets of Xianaya Pavilion, which may be useful to us, Zhenwu Garden. After saying that, he leaped into the air and pounced on the pavilion like an eagle. His speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, he landed on the pavilion. Nalan Rongayan's face was horrified. He wanted to move. But the other party was very fast, and stretched out his hand to grab Nalan Rongayan. Man Feng Su on this side had been staring at Bai Tianyu, and suddenly found that Bai Tianyu had a sneer on his face. Not good. Be careful. Just as he finished speaking, a black figure appeared behind Nalan Rongayan, holding a long sword in his hand tightly, and slashed it out in the blink of an eye. The sword light was like silver light pouring down, passing by in the blink of an eye. Swish! The person who attacked was instantly split in half by the long sword. It was Duan Xianaya who attacked. Some time ago, Duan Xianaya's strength had entered the Danshan Transformation Sea level. The person who attacked from Zhenwu Garden, although his strength was also at the Danshan Transformation Sea, was killed by Duan Xianaya because he did not take Nalan Rongayan seriously and did not sense Duan Xianaya. Kill. Seeing this, another person from Xianwu Garden jumped up and slashed with a long sword in his hand. Swish! The brilliant sword energy burst out like a waterfall, breaking through the railings and heading towards Duan Xianaya. However, when the sword light approached, Duan Xianaya moved slightly to avoid the sharp sword light. The sword light slashed on the doors and windows behind him, and the doors and windows were slashed in an instant. At a moment, Duan Xianaya moved. His figure was like a cheetah, and he rushed out in an instant. His figure was in the air, holding the sword with both hands, and slashing with a sword. The sword light was wanton, like snowflakes fluttering. But in the blink of an eye, the snowflakes changed, and a blood-red light fell. The man who drew the knife was shocked. The long knife in his hand immediately chopped out, and a terrifying knife light burst out. At the critical moment, he blocked Duan Xianaya's attack. After just one attack, Duan Xianaya did not turn around, but raised the long knife and chopped it out, and his body kept moving forward, increasing the speed and strength of the knife. For a moment, the man who made the move felt a terrifying energy coming from his long knife, and this energy flowed into his arm through the long knife. His arm was a little numb. He was horrified. He made the first move, but now he was suppressed by the other party. We must change the status quo. At this time, he thought in his mind, and a terrifying knife light burst out from the long knife, trying to repel Duan Xianaya's long knife. Bang! The two knife energies collided, and the two retreated. But when the man who made the move retreated, he felt a sense of terror and danger attacking his heart. What's this, Tisk? The man who attacked wanted to say something, but the violent sword light had already appeared. He drew his sword to block it and tried to move his body. But the violent sword light suddenly disappeared and turned into a blood light. In an instant, he felt a chill between his eyebrows. He reached out and touched it. His palm was covered with blood. His eyes were filled with fear. Your sword. Before he finished speaking, he fell to the ground. At the center of his eyebrows, sword energy burst out, and blood flowed out. In the blink of an eye, Duan Xianaya killed another person. Man Fengsu, who was confronting Bai Tianyu, turned his head to look at Duan Xianaya, his eyes filled with cold murderous intent. Duan Xianaya first assassinated one person, and then used all his strength to kill another person. His strength is not simple. He turned around and appeared in front of Duan Xianaya like a ghost. Kill you first, divine power, scorching sun power. A terrifying hot breath burst out from Man Fengsu, and a terrifying red energy appeared on his palm. The divine power suppressed Duan Xianaya's energy and affected his whole body. For a while, he couldn't move his body. And his mind also felt suppressed, and the hand holding the knife was a little heavy. Duan Xianaya bit his tongue when he saw this, and the stinging made him sober. Boom! At this time, Man Fengsu's palm fell. Duan Xianaya moved and rushed towards the distance, and Man Fengsu's palm fell on the ground. Boom! Swish! Suddenly, the hot palm fell on the wooden board on the ground, first with a rumbling sound, and then a smell of burnt wood came out. The attack failed. Man Fengsu didn't stop at all, and stepped on the ground suddenly. The ground was like a landmine, and it exploded. At this moment, Man Fengsu turned into a blurred afterimage, with a violent sound of breaking through the air, and attacked Duan Xianaya. Before the person arrived, a terrifying wave of air was already rushing towards him, pressing towards Duan Xianaya. Chapter 707, Liu Sheng Piao Catkins. Duan Xianaya joins forces to strike a knife. Bai Tianyu shoots the sky with 3 fingers. Shocking Godfinger, shocking Zhe. At this time, Bai Tianyu stretched out his hand and pointed his finger. A thunderclap sounded in the pavilion, like thunder. The finger appeared behind Man Fengsu like a strong light. The speed was extremely fast. Man Fengsu's eyes turned cold, and he turned his palm and slapped Bai Tianyu. The finger and palm collided with each other. Swish! Suddenly, when the collision occurred, a pair of boxing gloves appeared on Bai Tianyu's hand, covering his fingertips. The fingertips penetrated the key and finally touched the opponent's palm. The palm was broken by the finger force. A sharp pain came from the palm. Man Fengsu quickly retracted his palm. At this moment, Duan Xianaya soared into the air and slashed out with a knife. The god of killing slashed with a knife. The terrifying killing intent burst out from the knife. Liang Zhen Gang, Man Fengsu shouted. Boom! The true ki in his body suddenly burst out, shaking out an invisible wave of air, forming a true ki screen around him. Bang! Duan Xianaya's long sword slashed at the opponent's ki. The key collapsed, but his body was also shaken back several steps. Snow is falling in the world, kill the god with one sword. At this time, behind Du and Xianaya, a figure flew out, and Liu Shangpiaoxu made a move. The speed was extremely fast. Man Fengsu, whose true ki had just been slashed, changed his expression drastically, and moved his body, but the speed of the long sword was extremely fast, and his body only moved a little. Swish! His right arm was cut off in an instant under the long sword. Ah! The severe pain made Man Fengsu's face become ferocious, and he raised his left hand and suddenly tapped his body several times. In an instant, Man Fengsu, who had a normal face, had blue veins all over his body, and his body also swelled rapidly at this moment, and his body was even redder. The blood solidified instantly at the place where the means was cut off. At the same time, a terrifying and murderous aura burst out from the opponent. The palm of his left hand was raised, and the power of the gods condensed instantly, pressing towards Liu Shangpiaoxu. Liu Shangpiaoxu, who succeeded in one strike, felt a gravity pressing on him as soon as he retreated. His mind moved. Die, fiery sun explodes, Man Fengsu shouted in a low voice. Boom! A huge ki force burst out from his palm, forming a terrifying hot ki, burning the surrounding space into a terrifying vacuum. At this time, Du and Xianaya appeared beside Liu Shangpiaoxu. Helped Liu Shangpiaoxu resist the divine power. The two attacked at the same time. The two were originally husband and wife. Their ending in the last life was rather tragic, but this life was a new world without so many fetters. The two could be said to have a common mind. At the same time, they soared into the air and performed the god-killing sword slash at the same time. The two sword energies merged into one. The terrifying sword energy broke free from the suppression of the divine power. It collided with the opponent's terrifying ki force. Boom! The terrifying power collided, and the three figures retreated. At this moment, Bai Zhou flew and turned into a residual image and appeared in front of Man Fengsu. His eyes were cold and fierce. He shouted in a low voice. Three fingers bombard the sky, break the evil, awaken the dream natural enemy. Three fingers shot out instantly and pointed at the opponent's chest. Bang! 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 The three terrifying ki forces, plus the power of the fist, instantly shattered the only ki defense on Man Fengsu's body and pierced his body. Swish! Blood flowed out of Man Fengsu's body. Bang! As the blood flowed out, the ki force exploded in his body, bursting all his internal organs. He looked up at Bai Chaofei with a look of unwillingness. He died in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Plop! His body fell to the ground. At this time, the atmosphere in the Imperial Master's mansion seemed very solemn. The three swordsmen were surrounding the Imperial Master Chu Yunwu, with sword energy soaring into the sky, and Chu Yunwu's body was also filled with aura, gathering momentum. In addition, Emperor Wu Hao was stopped by the medicine man. The man in blood was stopped by Yao Yu. The remaining, Zhenwu Garden, Qin Juan and Tai's Hongtang were in opposition. You, Xianaya Pavilion, are going to fight to the death with me, Zhenwu Garden. Qin Juan looked at Tai's Hongtang with a ferocious and cold look. We have already made a move, so what can we do if we don't fight to the death? Tai's Hongtang's expression did not change, and his aura became more and more terrifying. Now your North Pavilions, Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, is probably already a river of blood, Qin Juan suddenly said. He wanted to affect Tai's Hongtang's mind. By the way, Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower was attacked, and while speaking, in addition to the burst of divine power, the terrifying ki flowed rapidly. Under the flow of ki, a black blood appeared on his body, and these black blood layers were superimposed, reaching 9 layers in a blink of an eye. This terrifying power spread around and collided with the surrounding air. The air crackled and then was repelled. It merged with Qin Juan's own body, making him look like a terrifying demon. 9 turned devil-splitting hand. As he spoke, Qin Juan moved his body and grabbed Tai's Hongtang's throat with his palm, his eyes flashing with crazy killing intent. Whoosh! Tai's Hongtang waved a battle flag in his hand, and the sharp spear tip on the battle flag burst out a bloody aura, forming a sharp aura, and went towards the opponent's palm at a very fast speed. It collided with the trajectory of the opponent's palm. Bang! Clang! First the aura collided, and then the palm and the spear tip collided. Qin Juan attacked with his severed arm, which had been replaced with a mechanical arm. The palm was black, and he was not afraid of Tai's Hongtang's spear tip. Metal collided, and flames shot out. The spear tip collided with the palm, and suddenly closed, and he actually grabbed the spear tip with his bare hands, and raised the other palm and punched at Tai's Hongtang. Tai's Hongtang raised his palm and slapped it out. The two palm forces collided, and the two bodies retreated. When his figure landed on the ground, Qin Juyin kicked the ground with his foot and punched out. The black evil spirit on his fist spread and formed a strong energy, which then turned into a black rainbow light and came towards Tai's Hongtang. Tai's Hongtang did not dodge and met his punch with a punch, but a layer of blood-colored energy also appeared on his fist, and the energy burst and was fierce. Boom. Direct confrontation. The two fists collided with each other. Tai's Hongtang's body did not move, while Qin Juyun's body slightly retreated 2 steps, but his face turned cold, because his metal palm once again drew out 5 sharp energy. With a sharp cold light, heading towards Tai's Hongtang's throat. Tai's Hongtang moved his body and avoided these 5 energy. At this moment, the true energy in his body began to surge wildly and poured into the big flag in his hand. I have already figured out your strength, so I won't fight with you anymore, and send you on your way. Tai's Hongtang's cold voice rang in Qin Juyun's ears. Hearing Tai's Hongtang's words, Qin Juyun's face turned cold. You are too arrogant. In the previous fight, although Tai's Hongtang was stronger than him, it was impossible to kill him. Divine power, Iron Blood, Man and Flag united. Iron Blood Flag, Tai's Hongtang shouted, and the surging and vast true energy in his body rolled behind him like waves. Then, the Iron Blood Flag, which was filled with energy, was filled with terrifying bloody energy, infecting the entire surrounding space. The originally dark sky seemed to be covered with a layer of blood in the blink of an eye. For a moment, Tai's Hongtang's burst of momentum was terrifying. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 708, Iron-Blooded Banner, Man and Banner unite, kill with one strike. This, the big flag in your hand is not a weapon of the weapon grade, it has reached the spirit grade. Seeing this, Qin Juyun's face changed drastically. His newly installed arm was a weapon grade. Just now, when he fought with Tai's Hongtang's big flag, he did not shatter the opponent's big flag. He thought that the big flag in the opponent's hand was also at the weapon grade. But now, judging from the might that has erupted, the blood flag has definitely surpassed the weapon grade and reached the spirit grade. Qin Juyun's eyes were horrified. He couldn't help but take a step back. Seeing this, Tai's Hongtang snorted coldly, raised the flag and stepped forward. The iron-blooded big flag stimulated by the true key, coupled with Tai's Hongtang's iron-blooded divine power. Qin Juyun felt that he was caught in a storm of blood. Roar. He let out a low roar, dispelling the fear in his body, and quickly operated the 9 revolutions magic art on his body. The magic art kept running, erupting with terrifying demonic energy. Although the demonic energy was terrifying, it was still suppressed by the iron-blooded energy. The huge pressure made Qin Juyun's eyes turn red. He tried his best and punched. But when the fist was thrown out, the iron blood banner penetrated the bloodlight and turned into a stream of light, missing his fist. The sharp tip of the spear pierced into the opponent's throat with a hiss. Blood began to flow from the opponent's body into the iron blood banner. In the blink of an eye, the iron blood banner became even more bright red. The shrunken corpse fell to the ground with a plop. The bright red color of the iron blood banner disappeared and turned into an ordinary blood flag. Qin Juyun died just like that, and died a little unwillingly, and died too quickly. Seeing this scene, a light flashed in the eyes of the Emperor's teacher. The eyes of Emperor Wu Hao, who was fighting with the medicine man, also changed. Qin Juyun's strength was about the same as his. Tai's Hongtang was able to kill Emperor Wu Hao with one blow, which meant that he could kill him with one blow. Spirit level weapon. I didn't expect that Tai's Hongtang had a spiritual level weapon, Emperor Wu Hao sighed in his heart. Tai's Hongtang was obviously one with a spiritual level weapon, Iron Blood Banner. He fought with the opponent himself. Except for escaping or finding the same spiritual weapon, he is not Tai's Hongtang's opponent. There is nothing unfair about this. Weapons are actually part of a warrior's strength. Roar. When Emperor Wu Hao sighed in his heart, the medicine man in front of him rioted, and the low roar sounded like a wave, heading towards Emperor Wu Hao. And at this moment, a terrifying energy flowed on his body. Under the flow of this energy, the medicine man moved his feet, rushed to Emperor Wu Hao, and slapped him heavily. The power in the palm exploded like a whirlpool. Emperor Wu Hao could only punch to resist. His burst of divine power did not suppress the opponent's mind and strength at all. Moreover, the opponent did not care about being injured when he attacked, and in the roar, he attacked with his mind, so Emperor Wu Hao could only passively resist for a while. Bang! Bang! The fight between the two was like a bomb exploding, with continuous explosions. In a short moment, the two had fought dozens of rounds, which seemed extremely fierce. Jing stood aside, not daring to move. Now, all the people here are strong people who have concentrated their minds in the sea. He is the only one whose Danshan has turned into the sea. He dare not move, fearing that these people will attack him accidentally. He looked at Fu Hongxue, who was confronting Chu Luosheng. He was extremely angry. He originally thought that the Qilin Club would be a helper, but he did not expect that it would become the biggest hidden danger. If there were no Qilin Club, they would all go to Zhenwu Garden. Fu Hongxue, now the Thai Deputy Pavilion Master of Xianaya Pavilion, has killed Qin Junyuan. Now is the time for you to retreat. If you don't retreat, the Thai Deputy Pavilion Master will take action and you will not be able to leave even if you want to, Chu Luosheng said coldly. After he finished speaking, Fu Hongxue's expression did not change. However, Tai's Hongtang, who put away the iron-blooded flag, was slightly moved. This time, Xianaya Pavilion will only deal with Zhenwu Garden, and will not take action against others, and it is better not to talk about my Xianaya Pavilion, Tai's Hongtang said coldly with dissatisfaction in his tone. Hearing Tai's Hongtang's words, Chu Luosheng's heart sank, and his face became very ugly. He didn't expect Tai's Hongtang to not make a move. In another place, the blood-robed man who was stopped by Yao Yu turned into blood light and rushed towards Yao Yu. He wanted to take the initiative. The blood shadow appeared in front of Yao Yu, and the blood-colored true energy in his body burst out like a mountain torrent, and a terrifying blood-colored true energy poured into his palm. The palm became a claw, and one claw grabbed towards Yao Yu's head. Yao Yu moved his body to the left and stepped back, avoiding the opponent's claw. The opponent did not change his body shape, turned his palm, and grabbed towards Yao Yu's face. 5 blood-colored ki burst out from his fingers. Like a sharp blade, it attacked Yao Yu's face. Yao Yu retreated, his eyes condensed, his body turned rapidly, his feet moved, and appeared in front of the opponent in a blink of an eye. Bang! Bang! A pair of white palms were printed on the opponent's chest. Under the 2 palms, the blood-robed man was shocked back several steps, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Is this your strength? Too weak, Yao Yu looked at the blood-robed man who was shocked back and said coldly. Die? Bloody evil heaven destruction. The blood-robed man wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and a cruel look appeared in his eyes. He shouted in a low voice. He moved his feet and attacked Yao Yu with both palms. If you want to die so much, I will send you to death. Yao Yu's eyes turned cold, and the Mingai Guang in his body was running rapidly. His palms turned jade-colored and slapped out with both palms, colliding with the other party's palms. A sound of ki explosion burst out. The 2 figures staggered. But at the moment of staggering, Yao Yu turned around and quickly returned. His figure was extremely fast. When the other party turned around, Yao Yu's figure turned into several after-images in front of the other party, which made the blood-robed man stunned. Suddenly, a white palm appeared in this after-image and was directly printed on the other party's chest. Bang! The blood-robed man was hit by this palm and flew backwards. He fell to the ground. The bricks and stones paved the ground, and several huge cracks were hit, spreading like a spider web. His chest was already dented by the palm. When the opponent landed, Yao Yu flashed again and appeared in front of him, and his palm fell. Bang! The energy fell on the opponent's head, and the head exploded. Now, for a while, only the medicine man from Zhenwu Garden was still fighting with Emperor Wu Hao. After Yao Yu killed the blood-robed man, his body reunited with Tai's Hongtang. He did not attack again. Emperor Wu Hao and the medicine man were still fighting fiercely, and the winner was still unknown. So everyone else's eyes were focused on the Emperor Master and the 3 great sword masters of Qilin Club. It seems that you are not retreating. In this case, I will show you my methods. The killing intent in the eyes of the Emperor Master Chu Yunwu became extremely sharp, and he shouted violently. Divine power, the blue sky and the yellow spring, boom. A powerful and terrifying true energy burst out from the emperor's body. This true energy was like the gate to the underworld, carrying a strong aura of death. In this aura, the emperor was like the god of death, looking at Yigachin, Zimenchuksu and Yan Shizhen with cold eyes. Chapter 709, Three Musketeers, Sword Key, Zhenwu Garden Master Yang Su. Such a strong death aura not only affects the mind, but also affects people's vitality. Tai Hongtang looked at the death aura emerging from the body of the imperial teacher Chu Yunwu, his eyes condensed, and he said in a deep voice. Yao Yu, who was beside him, also had a solemn look in her eyes. The imperial teacher of the Great Zhou dynasty is indeed extraordinary. The foundation of the Great Zhou dynasty is probably even deeper. If I don't use the Iron Blood banner, I may not be his opponent. But unfortunately, the three people he has to face are all three sword masters with a calm mind, Tai Hongtang said in a voice transmission. The strong death aura behind the imperial teacher is not simple, but who are the three people he is facing? Yan Shizhen, who is devoted to martial arts and obsessed with swords, integrates destruction and death into his swordsmanship, and the sword is filled with a sword of destruction. Yigachin, although not devoted to swordsmanship, his swordsmanship is like a fairy from the sky, otherwise, he can create a fairy from the sky. Zimenchuksu is different from the other two. His swordsmanship is the purest and most cold-blooded. He is devoted to swordsmanship and can put everything aside. The three of them joined forces. Even if he had the Iron Blood banner, he would still be defeated, and he could only flee after being defeated. Boom. Three unusual divine sword auras burst out from the three of them. The sword auras soared into the sky, emitting a sharp, cold, and deadly aura. Compared with the divine aura of death emitted by the Imperial Master, it was not weaker at all. The Imperial Master's eyes condensed. Although the sword intents burst out from these three people were different, they combined together to break through his divine aura. Yigachin stepped out. He raised the long sword in his hand, and the sword aura of flying immortals from the sky appeared. With white clothes fluttering and the sword aura coming out, the whole person was like an immortal, giving people a sense of transcendence, and there was also a sharp sword hard in the transcendence. The figure soared into the air, and the long sword in his hand slashed down. The sky was full of sword light, turning into a lonely wild goose, slashing towards the Imperial Master. Although the three of them worked together to break the divine aura suppression of the Imperial Master, the three of them did not attack at the same time. The three of them were all arrogant swordsmen. The heart of the sword is arrogant. Yigachin was arrogant, Yan Shizhen was arrogant, and Zimenchuksu was equally arrogant. Yigachin swung out a sword like a fairy from the sky. His sword technique was elegant and sharp, just like a sword from a fairy in the sky. The emperor's eyes condensed. He had thought that the three would attack together, but he didn't expect that the other party would attack alone. Although it was one person, it made him feel cold. The opponent's sword was not simple, and he couldn't be careless at all. He stretched out his palm and clenched it tightly. The fist force surged in and punched out. Bang! The fist force was shattered by the sword light. The emperor's face condensed. He didn't expect that his fist force would be cut by the opponent's sword. The sharp sword light approached. The fist blasted out again. Bang! The fist force and the sword energy collided again. The emperor retreated a few steps, and a trace of blood appeared on his fist. His eyes became gloomy. What a pity, after Yigachin struck with a sword, he didn't attack again. His strongest attack failed to take down the opponent, and it was useless to attack again. Your strength is not damaged, it's worth it for me to attack with my sword. At this time, Zimenchuksu came out, his tone was cold, his eyes were sharp, and his sword energy was stronger than Yigachin. After the battle with Yigachin, Zimenchuksu's swordsmanship has made further progress. He stepped out. The sword energy around him condensed, and an extremely sharp long sword appeared above his head. The long sword condensed and emitted a terrifying sword energy, which spread like waves to the surroundings. Under this long sword, Zimenchuksu looked lonely and arrogant, revealing endless murderous intent. He did not hold back. The imperial teacher Chu Yunwu was not an ordinary person. Although he took Yigachin's sword, his own aura did not change at all. The sword energy filled the sky, sweeping the world. Zimenchuksu stepped forward, and the whole person was like a god among swords. The terrible aura spread from his body and surged in this dark night. At this moment, Zimenchuksu urged his own sword energy to the extreme. At this time, two figures were standing in a pavilion, looking at the sword energy rising into the sky. One of the figures, wearing white clothes, was Jin Junmo from Zhenwu Garden. The other was wearing brocade clothes and had a pair of tiger eyes. With every move, a domineering aura emanated from him, and his eyes were sharp. If someone was here, they would be surprised, because this person was Yang Su, the owner of Zhenwu Garden. He was in the capital just as Emperor Zhou had guessed. It seems that the Emperor's master has encountered trouble. The three sword masters of the Qinglong Club have a strong heart for swordsmanship and are very arrogant. They didn't attack the Emperor's master together. Yang Su looked at the sword energy and said calmly, "Master, are you really not going to take action?" Jin Junmo said. "It's not worth it for me to take action now, not to mention that I can't defeat Tai's Hongtang who holds the iron-blooded flag," Yang Su, the owner of Zhenwu Garden, said. It seems that he doesn't care about the death of everyone in Zhenwu Garden at all. The experiment of the medicine man of General Manager Qin was quite good. He could actually fight against Emperor Wu Hao for such a long time. Jin Junmo continued to look at the Emperor Master's mansion. He can't last long. He is also a failure. Once his blood and true energy are exhausted, Emperor Wu Hao can kill him. I just don't know if he can cause some damage to Emperor Wu Hao, Yang Su said in a deep voice. "Master, aren't we going back to Zhenwu Garden? The Emperor Master has arranged people in Zhenwu Garden. I guess they will take action against Zhenwu Garden, after receiving the order. Black Cloud Village and Heaven Burial Sect can't take Zhenwu Garden," Yang Su said. While he was talking, a black figure landed in the attic. Garden Master, Elder Man and his men who went to Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower have died. Bai Tianyu of Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower has reached the level of Danshan Transformation C. In addition, 2 Danshan Transformation C swordsmen appeared. Their long swords are sharp. They can fight against Elder Man together. Elder Man died under the siege of 3 people, the black figure bowed. It seems that Xian'ai Pavilion is prepared, so I'm afraid I can't go back to Jingqian Gang. Jin Junmo, who was standing aside, frowned slightly when he heard this. It doesn't matter. This time, we are just using them to test this Xian'ai Pavilion. If they were slaughtered so easily, it wouldn't be worth my attention, and they wouldn't have such momentum, Yang Su said indifferently. Master, they are going to attack Zhenwu Garden. Aren't you afraid that Zhenwu Garden will be destroyed? Jin Junmo said. Zhenwu Garden has bound me for many years. This time, Zhenwu Garden is destroyed. I can go up the mountain to see my senior brother and let him show me the feelings of the previous Zhenwu Garden master when he stepped into the heavenly gate. What's more, as long as I am here, Zhenwu Garden is here, and it can be rebuilt at any time. Zhenwu Garden, Master Yang Su said domineeringly. From their conversation, it can be seen that Zhenwu Garden Master Yang Su is also calculating. Jianghu giants never just know how to kill people. They have a purpose for every step. The two of them looked towards the Imperial Master's mansion. At this moment, sword energy condensed and slashed out from the sky above the Imperial Master's mansion. Chapter 710 Zimenchuxu's Sword, the Angry Emperor Wu Hao. Inside the Imperial Master's mansion, Imperial Master Chu Yunwu's eyes were extremely solemn. The sword intent displayed by Zimenchuxu was colder and more murderous than that of Yi Guchen before. Yi Guchen's sword was like an immortal descending to the earth, giving a sense of transcendence, but his sword heart was flawed and had not yet reached the point of perfection. Zimenchuxu's swordsmanship was like a clear sword heart, giving people a sense of only swordsmanship. How could this Qinglong Club have so many terrifying sword masters? He was shocked, but he didn't have time to think too much. Because Zimenchuxu's sword made his heart tighten. It felt like being pricked by a needle. The sword was so powerful that he could feel it like this. This was a very scary opponent. He had to take this sword seriously. Has my heart been silent for so many years without taking action? Do I no longer have the martial arts heart to fight in the past? Chu Yunwu asked himself. No matter when a warrior practices, he practices with his heart. Chu Yunwu's own cultivation method is called Wanji Shuang, a method that makes everything annihilate and life wither. This is why he named his divine power Biluo Wangquan. After his mind was stable, the Wanji Shuang method began to flow in his body. The speed was extremely fast. The rich death energy surged in his palm, and he moved his body and punched out. The speed of this punch was a bit slow, as if he was punching out very slowly. However, Tai's Hongtang Yaoai and others who were watching the battle had their eyes fixed. Because the fist not only exuded a terrifying fist pressure, but also carried a life-eroding death energy. If people get close, their vitality will be eroded. Looking at this punch, Ziminchuksu's eyes lit up, raised his long sword, and slashed it out with one sword. The condensed sword energy was like a silk thread in the sky, hanging down. The sword light was huge, and it fell with one sword. The air and airflow were directly separated under this sword light. There was a feeling of splitting the mountains and rivers of the world. Wan Ji Tianli fist. At this moment, the fist that was originally slow began to explode, and suddenly accelerated, and the fist was full of mighty energy. The death-like fist force was like a wave, and it suddenly attacked the falling sword light. The punch of the imperial teacher Chu Yunwu was full of momentum and unstoppable. The strength of the imperial teacher was unquestionable. He was definitely the top-C concentrated strong man, especially his divine power. If it weren't for the three people joining forces to soar into the sky with sword power, they would not be able to break the opponent's divine power at all. If you can't break the opponent's divine power, you will be suppressed. Once suppressed, you can only flee in defeat. The arrogant swordsman has no escape, only death. The terrifying fist force collided with the falling sword light. The sword energy destroyed everything and was unstoppable. The fist force was like a huge wave, surging, and the death energy was overwhelming. Sword energy and fist force. The surrounding space and air began to become distorted under these two forces, forming an invisible countercurrent storm. The ground under the feet of the two of them collapsed, and an invisible air wave erupted in their bodies. The people around felt a strong impact. And a ki burst out from their bodies to block the storm. When the storm passed, two figures stood quietly in the center of the field, staring at each other. Ziminchuksu's eyes were sharp, exuding a strong fighting spirit, but he retracted his sword and slowly walked to the side, not planning to attack again. On the other side, the sleeve of the arm of the emperor's fist burst, and there were cracks on the arm, and blood flowed from the cracks. Although he blocked Ziminchuksu's sword, he injured his arm. Ziminchuksu's sword was too sharp, penetrating the ki into the arm of the emperor's fist, and directly blasted the meridians on the opponent's arm. If your divine power had not been broken, this sword would not have hurt you. Ziminchuksu looked at the emperor and said in a deep voice, "Warriors, heroes are judged by victory or defeat. The three of you broke my divine power, and you broke it. Swordsman, the sword destroys everything," the emperor said. Ziminchuksu's swordsmanship is so strong, and his sword heart is so strong. For such a swordsmanship master, it is useless to attack his sword heart. As an imperial teacher, he disdains to do such a thing. His eyes fell on Yan Shizun. He knew Yan Shizun. He had made several moves in the capital, and his sword energy also carried death. The Emperor Wu Hao's clone was killed by this man. Judging from the previous battle, he is not much stronger than Yi Guqing and Ziminchuksu. But this man is the last to make a move, and he must take it seriously. Chu Luosheng, who was confronting Fu Hongxue, had nervous eyes. Just now, Ziminchuksu's sword broke the meridians of his father's arm, and his sword energy was powerful. Now there's Yan Shizun. He has read Yan Shizun's information, and he is not that strong. But now he is the last to make a move. Judging from the order of the moves just now, this Yan Shizun should be the most terrifying. Ke Jing's face was also solemn at this time. Now things are completely out of expectation and out of control. He cursed in his heart, "Why are the people of the Qinglong society so stubborn? If you want the falling god pearl, just ask for it and I'll give it to you." Everyone knows that the Emperor Master is from our evil alliance, but he is still like this. Ke Jing hated it at this time, but he had no way to deal with it. Boom! At this moment, Emperor Wu Hao separated from the medicine man. Ki, blood and true ki are lost too quickly in the fierce battle. A gleam of light flashed in Emperor Wu Hao's eyes. But he was extremely anxious. The sword of Ziminchuksu of the Qinglong society made him feel a chill. This was not facing the sword head-on. If he faced the sword head-on, his pores would probably stand up. While he was thinking, the medicine man on the opposite side changed. His eyes became more red, and the reduced ki and blood in his body suddenly began to boil, constantly colliding with the true ki. The true ki and blood collided in his body, causing his ki to burst out, shaking out an invisible wave of air, spreading in all directions. And his tattered robes were all shattered, revealing his flesh covered with blue veins. His bones crackled again, and his body collided quickly like an inflated balloon, and a red patch appeared on his skin. At the same time, a fierce and domineering, terrifying, murderous intent burst out from him, and in an instant, his whole body turned into a muscled beast. Emperor Wu Hao's eyes condensed. He didn't expect that this medicine man would turn into a beast in the blink of an eye. A terrifying airwave swept towards him. Boom. When this airwave swept, the medicine man rushed over with his whole body, slapped his palm, and a terrifying explosive force appeared in his palm. Boom. The huge force blasted the surrounding airflow. When approaching Emperor Wu Hao, his palm clenched into a fist, and his fist was like a bursting scorching sun. Seeing this, Emperor Wu Hao immediately punched. Bang! With a dull thud, Emperor Wu Hao's tall body was shaken and flew backwards, and his body hit the wall behind him. The wall collapsed. The medicine man who made the move did not even stop, and rushed towards the collapsed wall, punching out. Chapter 711, Yan Shizhen kills the emperor with one sword. Boom. The fist fell, but a figure rushed out like lightning under the fist. He dodged the punch. Then he gasped, and the arm that had just hit him drooped slightly, trembling constantly, and his eyes were full of anger. Emperor Wu Hao, was actually suppressed so badly by a medicine man. The medicine man missed the attack, and his figure rushed out violently. Emperor Wu Hao's eyes also turned scarlet, and the blood in his body began to surge wildly. He had never fought desperately with a medicine man before, but now he was so embarrassed that he had to fight desperately and must kill the medicine man. The immortal true demon power in his body kept running, and the terrifying ki power burst out with all its strength. The figure also rushed out violently. Bang! 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 In a moment of huge and dense explosions, the two figures were extremely fast and fought wildly, and the airflow around them was constantly exploded. The sound of violent energy explosions was like a continuous thunder. The violent airwaves were raging wildly, and the sound of explosions continued. The surrounding air was crushed by the raging air force and continued to spread outward. If an ordinary warrior entered this area, he would probably be shocked to death immediately. Emperor Wu Hao's immortal true demonic force was running to the extreme, and his whole body was more violent than the medicine man. The medicine man was suppressed for a while, but even if he was suppressed, the medicine man still attacked frantically. However, the blood and true energy were rapidly consumed, and I am afraid that the medicine man could not hold on for long. Emperor Wu Hao's eyes became brighter and brighter. But suddenly, the medicine man did not defend at all, allowing Emperor Wu Hao's fist to hit him on the chest. When Emperor Wu Hao's fist hit the opponent's chest, the opponent hugged his hands. Emperor Wu Hao's fist was terrifying and pierced the opponent's chest, but just after piercing the chest, the medicine man screamed wildly, holding his fist with both hands, and suddenly exerted force. Swish! He actually tore the right arm that Emperor Wu Hao had blasted out directly. Ah! Emperor Wu Hao screamed. The figure retreated rapidly. The medicine man's chest was pierced by a fist. He knelt on the ground holding Emperor Wu Hao's arm. With a ferocious look in his eyes, he exerted force with his palm, and the arm of Emperor Wu Hao was directly shattered. Then he fell down with a plop. There was no breath. It felt like both sides were hurt. Although Emperor Wu Hao was not dead, he lost his right arm. The right arm is more important than the left arm. Emperor Wu Hao's strength has been weakened a lot. Jing jumped and appeared beside Emperor Wu Hao. The armless Emperor Wu Hao had a gloomy face. His left hand tapped the broken part of his right arm a few times. The blood stopped flowing from the broken right arm. Looking at the medicine man lying on the ground, he said to Jing, "Take the body of this medicine man back. Although the medicine man is dead, the body of this medicine man is still useful. Such a powerful medicine man, if studied, may be able to create some masters." Boom. When the battle here is over, Yan Shizhen stepped forward. As Yan Shizhen stepped forward, a sword energy appeared on his body. This sword energy was pure black. It was the same black as his clothes. Yan Shizhen liked black. Because black symbolizes sadness, ominousness and death. Black also symbolizes loneliness, pride and nobility. What they symbolize is the life of a swordsman. This is the symbol of him, Yan Shizhen. In his previous life, he did not use the 15 swords he learned from the battle with Feng. Instead, he killed himself. Yan Shizhen has no fear of death. In his previous life, he did not use the 15 swords. That sword was too terrible and he thought it did not exist in his martial arts world. But in this world, 15 swords do not seem to be the limit. There are more sword masters, which gives him the motivation to create the 16th sword. Of course, Yan Shizhen is a little different from Zimenchuksu and Yagutchen. Yan Shizhen kills for killing. His goal is to kill the emperor. With a long sword in his hand raised, the terrifying black sword energy permeated between heaven and earth, and the sword energy entangled. At this moment, Yan Shizhen is like a demon in the sword. Sword demon Yan Shizhen. Not crazy or demonic. The devil in the sword. The imperial teacher's pupils shrank sharply. This Yan Shizhen was more terrifying than the other two. The opponent's aura continued to rise. At this moment, he could not be allowed to continue to gather stronger aura. Boom. Wan Ji Tianmi, burning, the aura on the imperial teacher Chu Yunwu's body changed, and a black flame appeared, and his eyes became angry. The imperial teacher Chu Yunwu was enraged. The 3 sword masters of the Qinglong Club suppressed him. He was furious. He raised his palm and punched out. The fist force became black flame aura, and he punched toward Yan Shizhen. 14 swords. Yan Shizhen did not use the 15 swords this time. The opponent was injured and it was not worth it for him to use 15 swords. Although he was determined to kill, he was also a proud person. The sword came out. It was extremely fast and carried a terrifying aura of destruction. Boom. The fist blasted out, and the huge flame power came towards Yan Shizhen like a meteor, colliding with Yan Shizhen's 14th sword. The sword energy was shattered. But Yan Shizhen continued to send out the 2nd sword. He was different from Zimenchuksu. The purpose of coming here is to kill. Compared with Zimenchuksu and Yagutchen, Yan Shizhen is different from them. The purpose of drawing the sword is to kill, and the opponent must die. The speed of the 2nd sword is extremely fast. Like a black lightning, it slashed at the chest of the Imperial Master. Bang! The Imperial Master's chest exploded, and the Imperial Master's body was shocked and retreated several steps. After a few steps, the body paused, and the robes shattered, revealing a black soft armor. The soft armor was flowing, and there was a faint black giant python flowing. This soft armor blocked Yan Shizhen's 14th sword. The black python sky armor is a top-level weapon. Keijing looked at the black treasure armor with surprise on his face. It was a treasure of the giant whale sect, back then. After the giant whale sect was destroyed, this treasure armor disappeared. I didn't expect it to be obtained by the Imperial Master. Well, Yan Shizhen's eyes condensed, and the opponent's ki and the treasure armor actually blocked his 14 swords. You are very powerful, but you still can't kill me. You can't break my treasure armor. The Imperial Master looked at Yan Shizhen with cold eyes. This is why he's so confident that he can stop so many masters of concentration in the sea. This is his confidence. When his voice fell, Yan Shizhen's eyes became bright. Originally, he didn't want to use the 15th sword, but this made him want to use the 15th sword. Without any pause, he slashed out with his sword. Seeing Yan Shizhen's move, the Imperial Master's eyes were cold. He had even revealed a black python sky armor, but the opponent was still not giving in. Boom. It was just Yan Shizhen's sword that had already slashed out the 13 deadly swords. One sword after another was slashed out, and the sword energy was crisscrossed, wreaking havoc in all directions. Yan Shizhen's 15 swords evolved from the previous 14 swords. One sword is stronger than the other. The Imperial Master's eyes were ferocious, and he punched out one punch after another. He wanted to kill the opponent. Boom, the fist strength was constantly increasing, and the death energy was constantly condensing. But death had little effect on Yan Shizhen. Yan Shizhen himself represents death. Swordsmanship is crisscrossed. When Yan Shizhen finished performing the 14th sword, his body paused. Your sword has 14 variations. The 14th is your limit. You can't kill me, so I'll kill you. The Imperial Master had fought with Yan Shizhen for more than 10 rounds and already knew Yan Shizhen's swordsmanship. But as soon as he finished speaking, the aura of death on Yan Shizhen became more diffuse, suppressing the Imperial Master's fist. I still have 15 swords, it's also my last sword. If the sword lives, you live. All the strength in Yan Shizhen's body surged out, and he swung the sword down. Lightning and thunder flashed between heaven and earth. One sword covered the sky and the earth, and the sun and the moon were dark. There was only this sword between heaven and earth. The sword light fell. The Imperial Master's punching action was still there. But his body paused. This sword. His eyes were filled with horror, and he uttered a word of disbelief. But as he spoke, a crack appeared on the black python armor on his chest, and a terrifying sword of death burst out from it. Yan Shizin's 15th sword just now penetrated his armor, and the sword energy poured into his heart. The sword penetrated the heart. Puff. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and the whole person fell to the ground. He was killed by Yan Shizin's sword. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He still had many plans that had not been implemented. He still wanted to enter the heavenly gate. But he died under Yan Shizin's sword. Puff. At this time, Yan Shizin also spit out a mouthful of blood. The 15 deadly swords not only hurt others but also himself. The sword energy in his body collapsed, and at this moment he no longer had the ability to use any sword. He was seriously injured. Chapter 712, The Emperor's Master Falls, Zhenwu Garden, continues. Jing Wuming draws his sword. Seeing his father fall, Chu Luoxin, who was confronting Fu Hongxue, had red eyes and roared. Looking at Yan Shizin, who was holding the long sword and was seriously injured, he moved his body and slapped Yan Shizin with one palm. He wanted to avenge his father. But Fu Hongxue appeared in front of him, holding a pitch-black long sword in his hand, and his eyes did not change. A terrifying sword intent burst out. His eyes became extremely sharp. He moved his feet, rushed out violently, and the pitch-black long sword in his hand instantly slashed out. The pitch-black sword light did not show any signs under the moonlight. In the blink of an eye, Fu Hongxue's body staggered with Chu Luoxin. Chu Luoxin, who was punching, looked at the bloody sword mark on his chest. Bang! The sword energy slashed at his chest, making him scream. The whole person fell to the ground. He was killed by Fu Hongxue in one blow. It is also sad that a strong man with a C concentration was killed without even using the divine power. Chu Luoxin's strength is not bad. If he fights with Fu Hongxue, he can still fight a few moves. Although Fu Hongxue has not yet reached the top level of concentration in the sea, he can still kill Chu Luoxin. It's just that Chu Luoxin was thinking about killing the seriously injured Yan Shizin. He ignored Fu Hongxue, so he was killed by Fu Hongxue with a knife. At this moment, Song Lunhu came to the side of Yan Shizin and helped Yan Shizin. Fu Hongxue retracted his long knife and looked at Emperor Wu Hao and said, "There is a ruined temple 10 miles south of the city. We are waiting for the falling god pearl there. If it is not delivered tomorrow, you and he will die." After speaking, he came to the side of Emperor Master and took off the black python heavenly armor on the other party. The top defensive treasure armor is not ordinary. After killing someone, of course you have to touch the corpse. Not only did he get the treasure armor, but he also got a book of exercises, 10,000 Silence Kanshang heavenly scripture. Let's go. After taking the things, he turned around and led people away. The courtyard became silent. Only Tai's Hongtang, Emperor Wu Hao, Keijing, and Yao Yu were left. Although the Imperial Master is dead, Marcus de Wu, it does not affect our attack on Zhenwu Garden. You should have an ambush outside Zhenwu Garden, so we can move. At this time, Tai's Hongtang stepped forward and said, using himself as bait, he was prepared to die. It was normal that the Imperial Master was dead, but it did not prevent them from attacking Zhenwu Garden. Marcus de Wu and Keijing looked at each other, their eyes were a little lonely. They seemed to have suffered a great loss this time. It was a sure win, but it turned out to be like this because they invited Qinglong Society. The Imperial Master played himself to death. Tomorrow, they, Z-Men, might become a joke in the capital. At this time, Jin Junmo and Zhenwu Garden owner Yang Su were looking at the Imperial Master's mansion with a serious look in the distance. They just sensed the terrifying death sword energy. A subordinate quickly appeared. The Imperial Master is dead. He was killed by Yan Shizin of the Qinglong Society with his fatal 15th sword. The Imperial Master was wearing a black python armor. After Yan Shizin's sword, he was seriously injured and unable to attack again. The Emperor Wu Hao was seriously injured by the medicine man and lost an arm. They are heading to Zhenwu Garden, the visitor said the key points. The sword pierced through the Imperial Master with a black python armor. The power of this sword is terrifying, Yang Su frowned. Master, Emperor Wu Hao was injured and still went to Zhenwu Garden. Does he want to be killed? Jin Junmo said on the side. Tai's Hongtang of Xianaya Pavilion proposed it, the visitor said. Master, should we go back and take a look? Jin Junmo heard the words. You can go back and take a look, but I won't go back. Yang Su, the owner of Zhenwu Garden, shook his head. At this time, in another place, the Jinqian gang, In the Jinqian Gang Hall, Shangwen Jinhong was standing, and next to him was Lianxing in white. Opposite them stood three people. A man in a black robe, thin, with a cold light in his eyes. Behind him were two men in gray robes. "I didn't expect you to wait for us here, wait for us to send you on your way," the man in the black robe said coldly. "Who are you?" Shangwen Jinhong looked at the other party and said calmly. Compared with the Bai Chaofei, Shangwen Jinhong has the majesty of a generation of overlords. If the other party wants to die here, then he must give the other party a chance to leave his name. "Do you want to die clearly? Then I will do as you wish. I am Zhen Wen, Fen's Hongjiang," the thin man said coldly. "Since you have reported your name, I should send you on your way." Shangwen Jinhong's voice was indifferent, and his body did not move when he spoke. "You want to kill us with your strength?" Fen's Hongjiang looked at Shangwen Jinhong with disdain in his eyes. He knew the other party's strength. He was only in the Danshan Huahei, and the weapon in his hand was not ordinary. But what can he do? He was also able to crush and kill Shangwen Jinhong. "You want to kill the gang leader?" Just as he finished speaking, a figure walked out from the darkness. The person who came was Jing Wuming. His current strength has stepped into the sea to concentrate his mind and condense his own divine power. It is different from the divine power of others. His divine power is a bit crazy and cruel, just pure killing intent. Jing Wuming. "Kill you first," a gray-clothed man behind Fan Zhongjiang's Jing Wuming flashed, and killed Jing Wuming. Some time ago, Jing Wuming made a sneak attack and cut off one of Qin Zhongwen's arms. When he came, Qin Zhongwen ordered to take Jing Wuming's head back. Just when he made a move, Jing Wuming's body did not move, but at the moment he was on his body, the longsword in his right hand was unsheathed, and a gray sword light flashed. Swish! The longsword pierced the opponent's throat. After killing the opponent with one sword, Jing Wuming flashed and appeared in front of another gray-clothed man. Divine power broke out. The terrifying killing intent enveloped the opponent's mind. The other party was stunned and his eyes were confused. In the confusion, the longsword pierced his heart. In a moment, the two people following Fan Zhongjiang were killed by Jing Wuming's sword. Divine power? How can you have divine power? Seeing Jing Wuming's divine power, Fan Zhongjiang's face changed, and his face was unbelievable. "You can do it, why can't I?" Jing Wuming said coldly. His body shot out with a long sword, and Jing Wuming gained enlightenment. Although his strength was not as good as Fei at this moment, he was just as strong. The sword energy was sharp and crisscrossed. Fan Zhongjiang's face changed, and his palm slapped out, and the energy enveloped and blocked the long sword. His body also turned, and his palm was sharp, grabbing Jing Wuming's wrist. Jing Wuming used a sword, and taking down his long sword was equivalent to abolishing half of his martial arts. The claws were sharp. Jing Wuming's wrist was hit by the energy, and it seemed unstable, and the long sword fell, but he grabbed the long sword with his left hand. Fan Zhongjiang's face was happy. A swordsman is good at using his right hand, but now the sword is in his left hand, how can he get used to it? But when he turned around, Jing Wuming's left-hand sword appeared strangely, and he turned his body, as if he was close to the long sword. Swish! The long sword pierced his chest. The sword energy burst out, breaking his heart veins. He didn't expect it to be like this. Jing Wuming pulled back the long sword. Plop! Fan Zhongjiang's body fell to the ground, blood kept flowing from his chest. In just a moment, Jing Wuming killed these three people. Chapter 713, Qin Energy Conflict, Emperor Zhou is seriously injured. The night was thick. The fight was still going on in the Imperial Master's mansion. Some martial artists wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to get something. Originally, the Imperial Master's mansion had been completely defeated after the death of the Imperial Master. But Tai Hongtang and the people from the Evil Alliance left. As a result, some guards in the Imperial Master's mansion counterattacked, and the battle was not over for a while. Three figures rushed towards Zhenwu Garden. As for Jing, he took the body of the medicine man and went to another place. This medicine man is still useful. So he needs to send the body of the medicine man back to the base of the Evil Alliance, before going to Zhenwu Garden. There are many extraordinary things in Zhenwu Garden. He still has to go there, and he can't let Xian'ai Pavilion take advantage of it completely. Of course, he also wants to know if there are any remaining masters in Zhenwu Garden. Jing, who was rushing, stopped suddenly and looked at the quiet street in front of him. Suddenly, a figure walked out from the side of the street. "Leave this body behind, you can leave." The black shadow stopped in front of Jing and whispered. Jing's pupils shrank while wearing a mask, and then he became gloomy. He didn't expect that someone would snatch the corpse of the medicine man from them. "Friend, this corpse is not so easy to take away." When Jing spoke, he looked around to see if the other party had any companions. "Hand it over alive, or dead," the man in black spoke in a cold tone, revealing a murderous intent, and a faint divine aura burst out from his body. Sensing the other party's divine aura, Jing was shocked, put down the corpse directly, turned around and left quickly. In the blink of an eye, the figure turned into a shadow and disappeared into the night. The man in black glanced at the direction where Jing fled, and his figure jumped next to the corpse, briefly checked it, and then left with the corpse of the medicine man. Deep in the palace, Zhu Pingsheng appeared in front of Emperor Zhou. "The imperial master is dead, killed by Yan Shizhen, one of the 3 great swordsmen of the Qinglong society. The first sword strike was from your gudgeon, and blood flowed out of the imperial master's fist. The second sword strike was from Zimanchuksu, and the meridians in the imperial master's arm burst. The third sword strike from Yan Shizhen was called the 14th sword. It was fierce and deadly, and it slashed the imperial master's chest to reveal the black python sky armor. Then he used the 15th sword, which slashed the black python sky armor and pierced the imperial master's heart. It's called the 15th sword of death, and the sword strike injured the man himself and he was unable to fight. The iron-blooded flag in the hands of Tais Hongtang of Xianaya Pavilion is suspected to be a spiritual-level weapon, which killed Qin Zhuyan with 1 strike. Now he is heading towards Zhenwu Garden with Emperor Wu Hao of the Evil Alliance, and it seems they are going to destroy Zhenwu Garden. Emperor Wu Hao was attacked by the medicine man of Zhenwu Garden and had 1 arm broken. I have arranged for someone to retrieve the medicine man and will conduct a study on him." Zhu Pingsheng briefly narrated the battle in the Imperial Master's mansion. "The Qinglong Club is quite interesting. There are actually 3 sword masters. My teacher, who schemed to the end, plotted himself to death. It's a pity. A spiritual weapon appeared in Xianaya Pavilion. Check what level of spiritual weapon it is. Also, pay attention to Tais Hongtang," Emperor Zhou said in a deep voice. "I obey your orders. I have arranged people to keep a close eye on Zhenwu Garden. The battle there will be reported back as soon as possible. The fighting power of Emperor Wu Hao has been damaged. Xian Zhengren and He are unlikely to attack with all their strength. The last ones to attack should be Tais Hongtang and Yaoyu," Zhu Pingsheng said. "At this time, I should also move. You go down first. Will I need your cooperation later?" Emperor Zhou said. "Yes," Zhu Pingsheng bowed and left. After his figure disappeared, Emperor Zhou sighed. I don't know who he sighed for. Not long after, a terrifying golden light appeared in the palace where Emperor Zhou was. A dragon shadow hovered in the golden light. When this kind of weather appeared, it shook the world and made the surroundings of the palace as bright as day. The aura of Emperor Zhou was surging, and he felt like he was about to break through the sky. But a black aura suddenly appeared in this golden light. The 2 auras seemed to conflict, constantly intersecting and colliding, and then the golden dragon shadow disappeared. Puff! In the palace, Emperor Zhou spit out a mouthful of black blood. The gold on his body disappeared, and his face turned extremely pale. Sensing the situation in the palace, dozens of figures rushed to the palace. These people had surging auras and their eyes were fixed on the palace where Emperor Zhou was. They wanted to enter the palace to investigate. But Zhu Pingsheng appeared. "My lords, His Majesty said that no matter what, you can't enter the palace to investigate," Zhu Pingsheng said. "Zhu Pingsheng, His Majesty's aura has problems, how can we ignore it? I want to go to see His Majesty. If His Majesty wants to punish me, I will take responsibility at that time." The speaker was a middle-aged man in a purple robe. The man was burly and stood there like a terrifying beast. He walked towards the palace gate. "General Luo, you are going to disobey His Majesty's order." Zhu Pingsheng's eyes condensed and his tone was cold. The man who came out was Luo Hanai, one of the 5 great generals under the 3 giants of the Great Zhou military. "I have already said that if His Majesty wants to blame me, I will take the responsibility. If you dare to stop me, let's see if you have the ability to stop me." When Luo Hanai spoke, his huge eyes flashed with a thrilling light, and he stretched out his palm, and a terrifying energy appeared, and he slapped towards Zhu Pingsheng. He used all his strength in one palm. The breath was terrifying. Zhu Pingsheng's eyes turned cold, and he raised his palm. The breath on his body was not weak at all. He slapped out with a palm, and the terrifying murderous aura permeated. Bang! The palms of the two collided, and Zhu Pingsheng was slightly shaken and took a step back. Well, Zhu Pingsheng, you actually integrated the evil spirit in your body into your divine power. You are really cruel to yourself. Aren't you afraid that your divine power will collapse? Luo Hanai, who made the move, looked at Zhu Pingsheng with surprise in his eyes. When they made the move, a figure had already appeared at the door of the palace. He was about to push the door of the palace open. Old Li, you. Zhu Pingsheng tried to stop him, but Luo Hanai, who had made the move earlier, appeared in front of him and blocked his way. The palace door was opened. Inside the palace, Emperor Zhou fell to the ground with a pool of blood in front of him. The old man who pushed the door changed his face. Your Majesty. After saying that, he appeared in front of Emperor Zhou, checked Emperor Zhou's injuries, and his face changed. The internal key conflicted and the meridians were damaged. If it weren't for the protection of the true dragon's key, your Majesty's meridians would all be broken. Zhu Pingsheng, you are protecting your Majesty like this, the old man Li said sternly to Zhu Pingsheng, who followed him in. While speaking, a stream of true ki appeared in his hand and flowed into Emperor Zhou's body, helping Emperor Zhou recover from his injuries. Seeing this, the others all sensed the aura in Emperor Zhou's body, and their faces suddenly changed. With the help of Elder Li, Emperor Zhou slowly opened his eyes. His face was still extremely pale. After checking the situation in his body, his face also changed, and then his eyes turned cold. When did I allow you to come in? Did I say that you were not allowed to come in no matter what happened? Emperor Zhou's voice became cold and dangerous. Your Majesty, please forgive me. I didn't stop the adults. Please punish me. Zhu Pingsheng hurried forward and said. I'm fine, you go down. Zhu Pingsheng, you stay. Emperor Zhou glanced at the people in the palace and said coldly. Chapter 714, Besiege, Zhenwu Garden, kill 3 people with 1 flag, and go straight to the library. At this time, Jin Junmo, who was about to separate from the owner of this Zhenwu Garden, looked towards the palace. He is really breaking through, and there is a conflict of energy in his body. Emperor Zhou is really injured, Jin Junmo said involuntarily. In the attic, Yang Su also looked at the palace with a frown. This shouldn't be the case. How could this happen? His tone was a little puzzled, and his face was full of disbelief. Master, Emperor Zhou wants to surpass the emperors of all generations. This road is extremely risky. It is normal for such a situation to occur, Jin Junmo said on the side. Emperor Zhou is a very extraordinary person. I am a little surprised that he has such a thing, Yang Su said with a serious expression. If he is really extraordinary, he would not be here. Sometimes, people cannot defeat heaven. He should accept his fate, Jin Junmo said, and his figure jumped towards the direction of Zhenwu Garden. Only Yang Su, the owner of Zhenwu Garden, was left alone in the pavilion. He glanced at the palace, pondered for a moment, shook his head and walked into the pavilion. On the other side, Tai Hongtang and the others who were moving forward suddenly stopped and looked towards the palace. Then his eyes fell on Emperor Wu Hao. Tai Hongtang was not very familiar with the palace and knew very little, so he wanted to ask Emperor Wu Hao. Emperor Wu Hao also took a look, his expression was a little solemn. Seeing Tai Hongtang's inquiring eyes, he shook his head and said, let's solve Zhenwu Garden first, and then talk about it later. Emperor Wu Hao's tone was a little weak. Losing an arm also hit his confidence. Seeing that the other party said so, Tai Hongtang did not ask any more questions. His purpose was to occupy Zhenwu Garden, occupy some of the books and treasures in Zhenwu Garden, and secretly transport them away. Zhenwu Garden, 2 groups of people hide outside Zhenwu Garden, not far away. One side was Black Cloud Village, and the other side was Xianzanmen. At this moment, the leaders of the 2 sides gathered together. Their purpose here was to cut off the connection between Zhenwu Garden and the outside world. Do not let any news from the outside world be transmitted to Zhenwu Garden. That's why. In Zhenwu Garden, no one knows what happened in the Imperial Master's mansion. No one knows. Qin Juin and others are dead. The masters left in Zhenwu Garden can sense the sharp aura fluctuations in the Imperial Master's mansion, and they all think that they are besieging and killing the Imperial Master. A man in a brocade robe came to the Xianzang gate. He had a smile on his face and looked like a refined scholar. He was about 30 years old, and his eyes were shining from time to time. In his hand was a silver judge's pen. As for Heian village, it was a woman in a black dress. The woman's hair was as black as a waterfall, her face was beautiful, and she held a long sword in her hand. Scholar Qin, I just got the news that the Imperial Master was the second leader of the Evil Alliance, but he was killed by the Qinglong Society, the woman in black said. The Evil Alliance dug a hole to bury themselves, but the Qinglong Society was a bit cruel. 3 sword masters killed the Imperial Master, but it's not the Qinglong Society's fault. Their purpose of coming here was to kill the Imperial Master and take the Falling God Pearl. If the Evil Alliance had explained their true purpose to the Qinglong Society, at first, I believe this would not have happened. It's still the Imperial Master who is too confident. The consequence of confidence is that accidents often happen. Sister Chanai, do you think there will be any accidents if we attack Zhenwu Garden? After all, there are definitely top-notch concentrated masters in Zhenwu Garden, the man in brocade clothes said. The man in brocade clothes is Qin Lai, the deputy leader of Xianzing sect, and the woman in black is Lu Chanai, the third leader of Heian village. Now it's not the Evil Alliance that is in charge, but Tais Hongtang of Xianaya Pavilion. He killed Qin Juiyun with one blow. Xianaya Pavilion and Zhenwu Garden have a deep hatred. This time, Xianaya Pavilion will not miss this opportunity, Lu Chanai said. While he was speaking, 2 groups of people came towards this side. On one side was Bai Tianyu in white, and on the other side was Shengwen Jinhong. They dealt with the people from Zhenwu Garden, and then brought people to Zhenwu Garden. They wanted the things in Zhenwu Garden. How could it be possible without more people coming? Seeing the 2 groups of people coming, Qin Lai and Lu Chanai's expressions slightly condensed. They are from Xianaya Pavilion, led by Shengwen Jinhong and Bai Tianyu. These 2 people are average in strength. How can they participate in this matter? Qin Lai said. He had read the information about Bai Tianyu and Shengwen Jinhong, and they were just average. They are not ordinary, not that simple. Lu Chanai narrowed his eyes and said. We will see their strength in a while. Bai Tianyu and Shengwen Jinhong stood outside Zhenwu Garden with their people, waiting for Tais Hongtang and others to come. Let's show up too, Qin Lai said when he saw this. Lu Chanai nodded, and then the 2 of them came out with the people behind them, and behind them were all wearing black clothes. The people of Xianzing sect held long swords, while the people behind Lu Chanai held swords. A murderous intention gathered outside the Zhenwu Garden. The Zhenwu Garden had already sensed the situation outside. 3 auras burst out from the Zhenwu Garden. 3 powerful people in the sea. 3 auras appeared, and Tais Hongtang, Yaoyu, and Emperor Wu Hao appeared. Meet the 2 deputy pavilion masters. Bai Tianyu and Shengwen Jinhong saluted the 2. These 2 are Qin Lai, the deputy leader of the Xianzing sect, and Lu Chanai, the third leader of the Black Cloud village. Emperor Wu Hao introduced Tais Hongtang and Yaoyu of Xianaya Pavilion. Tais Hongtang and Yaoyu said to themselves. It's getting late, solve this Zhenwu Garden as soon as possible. Kill, Tais Hongtang said afterwards. The aura on his body burst out, and he raised his palm, and a palm force burst out, shattering the gate of Zhenwu Garden. He jumped in first. Emperor Wu Hao was injured, and the main force this time was them, Xianaya Pavilion. Yaoyu followed behind. Bai Tianyu and Shengwen Jinhong also led people to quickly go into the Zhenwu Garden. Qin Lai and others took a look and rushed in. Zhenwu Garden was brightly lit at this moment, and dozens of disciples appeared. They were about to speak, but a sword flashed and Jing Wuming's long sword cut their throats. What a fast sword, what a fierce sword. Lu Chanai, holding a sword, looked at Jing Wuming who was wielding the sword. When she saw Jing Wuming, her expression was startled. Just now, this person was behind Shengwen Jinhong and was not noticeable at all, but the moment he attacked, she was shocked. Who dares to break into my Zhenwu Garden? 3 figures rushed out. Kill your people, Iron Blood Banner. The leader Tais Hongtang did not retain his own strength at all. A terrifying iron blood murderous aura burst out from his body. He jumped up and covered the 3 opponents with the Iron Blood Banner in his hand. The powerful divine power, coupled with the Iron Blood Banner, instantly enveloped the 3 people. Then the iron-blooded flag and the tip of the spear slashed, and a blood mark appeared between the throats of the three people who appeared. When they came to their senses, they felt their throats were cold. Blood flowed out. They fell to the ground without saying a word. It was too fast. They didn't even have the power of God. Emperor Wu Hao, where are the library and treasures? After killing three people, Tai Hongtang looked at Emperor Wu Hao. Emperor Wu Hao's eyes were fixed. Let's go. They went to one place. You take care of the others, and leave no one in Zhenwu Garden. After Tai Hongtang finished speaking, he followed, and Yao Yu followed closely. Qin Lai and Lu Chanhai looked at each other and didn't follow. Tai Hongtang's attack just now shocked them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 715, Guarding the Old Man, Inviting the Moon God. Deep in the backyard of Zhenwu Garden, in a secluded place, there is an ancient three-story building. This is the forbidden area of Zhenwu Garden. Three figures, one in front and two behind, appeared outside the building. They were Emperor Wu Hao, Tai Hongtang, and Yao Yu. Is this where Zhenwu Garden stores its collection of books and treasures? There should be experts guarding it. Brother Tai needs to solve this problem, Emperor Wu Hao said. In such an important place, powerful forces have experts sitting in charge. Tai Hongtang narrowed his eyes and looked at the building. There were three auras in the building, one of which was extremely dark. The other two auras, one in Shinren Jiunan and one in Danshan Huahei. These three people are on each floor. The bottom floor is the weakest, and the third floor has a dark aura. Shinren Jiunan and Danshan Huahei don't care. What they care about is the one with the dark aura. The one who made him sense the dark aura is probably the top C-level strong man. Huh? Two figures walked out of the building. One young man and one middle-aged man. The young man looked gloomy as he looked at the armless Emperor Wu Hao, Tai Hongtang, and Yao Yu. His eyes fell on Yao Yu, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Although Yao Yu wore a veil, she was known as the most beautiful woman in the world in her previous life, and her temperament and figure were attractive. Who are you? This is the important place of Zhenwu Garden, not a place you can come to, the young man said in a cold voice. His eyes kept staring at Yao Yu. The middle-aged man beside him said nothing, and his eyes were closely watching Emperor Wu Hao and the other two. He was extremely vigilant. Today, Zhenwu Garden sent out many masters, and the other party appeared here now. The other party seized this opportunity and appeared here, probably for the things in the building. He turned his palm, and a burst of energy filled his palm. At this time, the front yard of Zhenwu Garden was brightly lit, and a miserable cry was faintly heard. The expressions of the young man and the middle-aged man changed drastically. They had a premonition that something was not good, especially the young man, who turned around and wanted to go to the small building. There were screams in front. These people came to the backyard. It can be seen that their strength is not what they can match. Just when he moved, Yao Yu, who was beside Tai Hongtang, took action, and a terrible energy burst out from his body. He raised his palm and slapped the young man directly. The terrifying energy was everywhere. Seeing this, the young man turned his palm into claws, and the claws were fierce. But the palm that slapped did not change at all and went straight down. Bang! The young man who took action was slapped by Yao Yu and flew backwards, hitting the wall of the small building behind him. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out of his mouth, and then he died. Seeing this, the middle-aged man's face changed, and he did not stop his steps, and his figure quickly went towards the small building. But at this time, Emperor Wu Hao moved. His figure rushed out, his palms turned into dragon claws, and a fierce energy burst out from his palms, grabbing the other party. The middle-aged man sensed the terrifying gust of wind behind him, and without hesitation, he punched out. A sharp lightning flash appeared on his fist, but his fist was staggered by the palm, which grabbed his head with great force. Swish! The palm grabbed the other's head off. Blood spurted. Although Emperor Wu Hao lost an arm, he was still as strong. Sir, are you not coming out? After Emperor Wu Hao killed the middle-aged man, he looked at the pavilion and said loudly. When the voice fell, an old and hunched figure appeared silently outside the pavilion. The old man's blood seemed to be dried up, and his eyes were turbid, but he appeared silently just now, which showed that this person was not simple. Emperor Wu Hao, it seems that Qin Boy has failed. I didn't expect that there would be this disaster in Zhen Wuden, the old man who appeared said to himself. His eyes went to Tai's Hongtang, and finally fell on the iron and blood flag in Tai's Hongtang's hand. The bloody evil spirit is still there. It's a good primary spiritual weapon. It's connected with the mind. Who are you? The old man looked at Tai's Hongtang and said in a hoarse voice. Tai's Hongtang's eyes condensed. He didn't expect that the old man could see the details of the weapon in his hand at a glance. I am Tai's Hongtang, the deputy pavilion master of the North Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion. When he spoke, his aura spread out, and the violent iron-blooded evil spirit burst out. The evil spirit filled the sky, and the iron-blooded flag in his hand was tightly grasped. Although the other party's blood and ki were dry and his body was hunched, he could see the iron-blooded flag in his hand at a glance. His strength was definitely extraordinary. Tai's Hongtang's eyes condensed slightly, not daring to underestimate him in the slightest. Iron-blooded evil spirit, it seems that you are the one who released the divine power outside my Zhenwu garden some time ago. Tai's Hongtang's aura burst out. But it did not have the slightest effect on the old man, and the old man's tone was still very calm. Emperor Wu Hao looked focused and stepped aside. At this time, Yao Yu came to Tai's Hongtang's side. Mingyu Gong was running at a very fast speed, and a strong true ki fluctuation appeared on his body, and the divine power burst out. A cold crescent moon condensed out, and the originally hot summer night was filled with a strong chill under this coolness, and a layer of frost appeared on the surrounding flowers, plants and trees. This was the first time that Yao Yu took action and showed her divine power. When she and Qin Jilin fought in the Money Gang, at first, the two did not show specific divine power. Now facing this old man, Yao Yu was ready to take action. What a strong divine power, I underestimated you. The old man's attention was all on Tai's Hongtang at first, and he didn't pay attention to Yao Yu. But at this moment, he had to pay attention to Yao Yu. I haven't taken action for many years, but I didn't expect to take action again. As the old man spoke, his originally turbid eyes revealed a sharp brilliance. The ki and energy in the body flowed, and at the moment of flow, the originally dry ki and blood suddenly began to flow. The blood and ki did not burst out outside the body, but only flowed inside the body. The blood began to flow, and the originally dry and old face began to change, and the aura on his body also changed. A strong aura burst out from the old man. A strong man in the sea. This battle is inevitable, so I will strike first. As he spoke, the old man stomped his foot on the ground, and his figure flashed out. And the strong true energy condensed into shape in his palm. He did not show his divine power, but he seemed to be unaffected by Yao Yu's divine power. Zuaku divine palm, the old man slapped out with his palm, and a great true energy burst out, with a faint divine pressure. Facing the old man's attack, Yao Yu's expression condensed. Although the opponent did not burst out his divine power, he condensed it in his body and hands. His eyes became sharp. The slender jade finger pointed out. A cold true energy condensed into vortex at her fingertips, and pointed at the opponent's palm like lightning. Bang! When the fingers and palms touched, a strong wave of true ki spread out immediately, but then the ki force pointed out by Yao Yu was dispersed by the palm force. Just when the ki force was shattered, Yao Yu opened her palm and slapped it out. It collided with the old man's palm. The two figures retreated slightly at the same time. Just now, Yao Yu first used the finger force to resist the palm force of the opponent's palm, and then took the opponent's palm. Yao Yu did not stop after retreating. Her delicate body swept, and her slender jade hands, like a sharp blade, carried the cold air to attack the opponent's vital points. Chapter 716, The Loser of the Shineman Gate. His ki and blood are exhausted. Facing Yao Yu's fierce attack, the old man's expression remained unchanged, and he followed her. At that moment, the two of them crossed each other's bodies. The energy collided, and in just a few breaths, the two had fought 4 or 5 times. The cold air that burst out from Yao Yu's palm did not cause any trouble to the other party. And her own arm moved slightly. The other party's use of divine power was much better than hers. The two staggered. Although your divine power is very strong, you are not as good as me in using it. Go on, you have no chance of winning. The old man looked at Yao Yu and said coldly. I really want to see your final strength. Who is Yao Yu? The Grand Palace Master of Yeho Palace was a figure who was unrivaled in the world in his previous life. Just now, the old man's divine power was not stronger than hers, but his use was much better than hers. Her own divine power was to suppress the opponent's spirit and increase the attack power of her own attack. The opponent's divine power was condensed in his body, and his attack was circulated in his palm. His control over divine power had reached the level of perfection. Even so, how could she admit defeat? After the words fell, Yao Yu's eyes became sharp, and a domineering aura appeared on her body. Divine power, bright moon shining on the painting, boom. At this moment, Yao Yu did not hold back at all, and her divine power burst out with all her strength. Bright moon shining on the painting, that was the divine power that Yao Yu condensed after coming to this world, which was somewhat similar to the name of her weapon in her previous life. The bright moon was cold and enveloped the four directions, and the Mingai Guang in her body began to operate. 9 vortices appeared in her body, and these 9 vortices quickly flowed from head to toe, and then condensed in her palm. A terrifying cold air appeared in her palm. Her figure swept out and slapped out with one palm. Yao Yu not only knew the Mingai Guang, she also had the world-leading palm method, Yeho Jiayu. This is a method of borrowing power. The stronger the opponent's attack, the stronger her Yeho Jiayu palm power. However, just now when they fought, the old man had not burst out with terrifying power, and he used a skill to fight Yao Yu. Now Yao Yu wanted to force the old man to fight with all his strength. Seeing this, the old man who made the move showed a solemn look in his eyes. On the other side, the expression of Emperor Wu Hao changed slightly. Yao Yu made few moves. He didn't pay much attention to Yao Yu before, and focused on Tai's Hongtang. But now Yao Yu made a full-strength move, showing strength that was no worse than Tai's Hongtang. Although the divine power was cold, it was also domineering. He looked at the old man, and the old man's aura also burst out at this moment, and the great true energy surged out, which was a bit similar to the death energy of the imperial teacher. This great true energy was not corroded, but only old and decadent. Although it was old and decadent, when it appeared, it turned into a terrifying force and pressed towards Yao Yu's divine power, trying to crush Yao Yu's divine power. Yao Yu moved his body and slapped his palm. The attack was as fast as thunder. He didn't dodge at all, and wanted to fight with the opponent. The old man's eyes condensed slightly, and his body did not dodge. He took a step forward and slapped his palm. The true energy surged in this palm, breaking the surrounding air and colliding with Yao Yu's palm. Bang! The palms of the two collided, and suddenly an astonishing energy spread out, forming a gust of wind. As the gust of wind rose, Yao Yu's figure was like a butterfly, and her palms slapped out one after another, with each energy being stronger than the last. The strength in the old man's hands was also constantly increasing. His eyes became sharp. Break! The old man shouted, and an even more terrifying force burst out from his palm, knocking Yao Yu back with one palm. Use your strength to fight back, but my strength is stronger than yours. At this moment, the old man's figure did not stop at all, and the originally decadent gray energy suddenly surged like yellow sand. Breaking through Yao Yu's attack, his palm stretched out and attacked Yao Yu's head. Divine power, iron blood. At this moment, Tai's Hongtang made a move, and the terrifying iron blood aura on his body spread out, forming a huge pressure that enveloped the old man, and the iron blood flag in his hand was also waved out, and the bloody aura enveloped the other party's mind. At the moment of this force attack, the blood flag turned into bloodlight and attacked the old man's chest. The old man was just slightly startled, and turned his palm back and slapped it on the blood flag. On the blood flag, evil spirit burst out, and the old man's palm formed a vortex. Bang! The evil spirit and true energy vortex exploded, and the whole air was blown up by this force to form a tangible ripple that spread out. The two people staggered at the same time. The blood evil mind attack just has little effect on me. The old man looked at Tai's Hongtang coldly. Tai's Hongtang's eyes condensed. This was the first time that his iron blood flag failed. Usually, the C-concentrated strongmen, or the C-concentrated strongmen like Qin Juyan, would be affected in mind and killed by him in one blow. But this old man's mind was affected, but not greatly. His mind was not affected, but his blood was. When fighting with us, he didn't dare to release his blood. It was all flowing in his body, and it was consumed bit by bit every time he fought. He usually doesn't dare to use the blood in his body. Yao Yu stepped forward and looked at the other party coldly. Hearing Yao Yu's words, Emperor Wu Hao, who did not make a move, was stunned. You are the one who failed to break through and step into the heavenly gate. Although your divine power and true energy have not changed, the blood in your body has begun to dry up because you failed to break through and step into the heavenly gate. The blood is not regenerated, which is why you dare not burst out with all your strength. Emperor Wu Hao looked at the other party with cold eyes. There are many top-C concentrated masters in the Great Zhou dynasty. They are capable of continuing to the next step. But why didn't they? That's because when the C concentrated masters break through the next step, it will cause the world to move, and then the heavenly gate will appear. If you can't suppress the power in your body and control your own strength in a short time, and can't blast through the heavenly gate and step into the heavenly gate, then you will be backlashed by the world, and the blood in your body will not regenerate. Qi and blood are the continuation of a warrior's life. Once the qi and blood are no longer regenerated, when the qi and blood are exhausted, it is the end of life. A warrior in the world can live for 200 years after entering the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. With some longevity pills or other methods, the life of a warrior will be very long. It has created many top-notch old antiques in the sea. Of course, some people broke through the gate of heaven and entered the gate of heaven, while some people failed and lived in this world. This old man is one of them. Kill, surround and kill him, don't let him leave. As long as the little qi and blood in his body is exhausted, he will die, Emperor Wu Hao said sternly. He took the lead in attacking, the divine power burst out, and the left hand punched out, and the black true qi burst out on his fist. Yao Yu and Tai's Hongtang looked at each other. Attack at the same time, but Tai's Hongtang rolled up the iron and blood flag and fell behind him, and punched out, and the rich blood evil energy formed a vortex on his fist. Yao Yu slapped outer palm, and the cold air was pressing. The old man's face became extremely gloomy. He tried his best to control the consumption of his blood and qi, but he was still discovered. He was suddenly surrounded by 3 people. Under the attack of the 3 people, the old man's blood and qi were constantly consumed, and his strength was constantly declining. You want me to die, and I want you to be buried with me. The old man's face became ferocious. The blood and qi in his body were no longer restricted, and his true qi burst out. Although he failed to break through the gate of heaven and his blood and qi declined, his strength was still there. But at this time, Tai's Hongtang's iron and blood flag rushed out, and blood light rushed into the sky, covering the opponent. Mind shock just now, Tai's Hongtang had been punching and did not use the iron and blood flag. The old man inadvertently ignored the existence of the iron and blood flag in his heart, so when Tai's Hongtang used it again, his mind was slightly startled. Boom! The palms of the 3 people were all printed on the old man. Bang! The old man wanted to die together with the others, so he used all his strength to kill people. Unfortunately, before he could use his strength, his body was knocked back by the palm power of the 3 people, and hit the small building, breaking the wall of the small building. Puff! Blood spurted out. His chest collapsed completely, and he wanted to stand up, but when he stood up, he fell to the ground again, without a breath. There was reluctance in his eyes. There was also a sense of relief. Living a lingering life, death is also a kind of relief. There will be 2 more chapters around 5 p.m. Chapter 717 Yao Yu's exclusive weapon, bleak blood shining in the painting, Fu Hongzhu's enlightenment after 10 years. Jinling City. Late at night, in a courtyard in the manor. Su Chen was standing in the pavilion in the courtyard. Today is the night of the full moon on the 15th day of the lunar month, when changes are taking place in the capital. Su Chen was worried, so he couldn't sleep. He looked up at the full moon in the sky and said in a deep voice, "When will the news from the capital reach Jinling City tonight, Master?" "The news tonight should reach Jiangnan as early as tomorrow noon," Yuan Suin said on the side. "It will arrive at noon tomorrow, but I don't know what the battle with the imperial teacher is like, and why did the battle with the imperial teacher happen?" Su Chen murmured. The imperial teacher of the Great Zhou dynasty was surrounded and killed in the capital, which always felt incredible and difficult to understand. Thinking about these, Su Chen couldn't sleep. King Longhu killed the imperial teacher Chu Yunwu and was rewarded with 1 orange lottery card, and Xianaya Pavilion occupied Zhenwu Garden, and was rewarded with 1 orange lottery card. Hearing this reward, Su Chen was slightly stunned. From this reward, it can be seen that both Xianaya Pavilion and Qinglong Club have achieved their goals without any accidents. He couldn't help but show a happy look on his face. Qinglong Club killed the Emperor's master. Xianaya Pavilion occupied Zhenwu Garden. When the news arrives tomorrow, quickly inform me. I want to know the specific situation. Go back and rest. Su Chen stood up and said to Yuan Suyan. Upon hearing this, Yuan Suyan showed a happy look on his face and bowed to leave the courtyard. Su Chen took out the 2 orange lottery cards he had just obtained, get Joiu's exclusive weapon, Bizu Zhaoyanking, and get the character Fu Hongxu's enlightenment after 10 years. Joiu's exclusive weapon? Fu Hongxu's enlightenment after 10 years, Joiu's exclusive weapon, Bizu Zhaoyanking. Su Chen took out Bizu Zhaoyanking. The sword body was black and had no luster. The long sword was only 1 foot and 7 inches. It was a short sword and there was no special feature. But Su Chen checked the dagger. The dagger is a primary spiritual weapon, not the ancient magic weapon rumored in the novel. Just like Tai Hongtang's iron-blooded flag, the dagger is extremely sharp and can cut gold and jade. When it is in tune with its mind, it can burst out with terrifying power. As for the power, there is no detailed introduction. It is estimated that Joiu herself needs to know. With this weapon, Joiu's strength may be able to catch up with Tai Hongtang. Let Yuan Suyan send someone to deliver it to Joiu in the capital tomorrow, Su Chen said. As for Fu Hongxu's enlightenment in the last 10 years, Fu Hongxu has just stepped into the sea of concentration and has not yet reached the top level of sea concentration. With his enlightenment in the last 10 years, he has become a top sea of concentration. Good harvest. With a smile, he returned to the house. The next day, when Su Chen stepped out of the door, Yuan Suyan was standing outside the room. Master, Nangguang Qiushu of the Nangguang family is here to visit, Yuan Suyan said. Nangguang Qiushu is here to visit. Su Chen's expression slightly changed. Now he has a bad reputation in Jinling City or the entire Jiangnan martial arts world. It is estimated that when he walks on the street, the martial artists in the Jianghu will sneer at him. Nangguang Qiushu is the eldest daughter of the Nangguang family, and the second most beautiful woman on the Jianghu Xiangxin list. She came to the Zhuang family to see him, which made Su Chen a little confused. He did not think that he was talented and outstanding in appearance, and could attract the attention of the eldest daughter of the Nangguang family. Nangguang Qiushu is a member of the Jiangnan Nangguang family, and also has the identity of Paradise Palace. This dual identity shows that Nangguang Qiushu is not simple. Let's go see Nangguang Qiushu. Su Chen nodded and went to the direction of the hall with Yuan Suyan. The other party came to see him for something. He really wanted to see what the other party wanted to see him for. In the Zhuang family hall, Nangguang Qiushu was sitting in the hall. Next to her stood an old man with a stern face, dark skin, and wearing a black robe. The old man stood behind him, closed his eyes and rested, as if he was asleep, and did not move. When Su Chen and Yuan Suyan entered the hall, the old man just moved his ears. Nangguang Qiushu saw Su Chen, stood up, and saluted Su Chen slightly. Meet Su Shaolong Xiao? Su Chen nodded slightly, and his eyes fell on the old man in black. Although the old man's eyes were slightly narrowed, his blood was surging, and his consciousness was alert. Miss Nangguang, I don't know why you suddenly came to visit me. Nangguang Qiushu did not introduce the old man, and Su Chen did not ask, but asked Nangguang Qiushu's purpose. This time, she came to see Su Shaolong Xiao mainly because the new palace master of Jili Palace has arrived in Jinling. She wants to meet Su Shaolong Xiao, Nangguang Qiushu said. There seems to be nothing visible between us. Could it be that he wants to find my Qinglong Club, to recover the silver? It may be useless to talk to me about this, Su Chen said in a deep voice. Don't misunderstand, young Master Su. We have written off the previous matter. The new palace master mainly wants to meet with young Master Su to see if there are some areas where we can cooperate. After all, young Master Su is now in charge of the third largest bank in the world, and there are many things that can be cooperated, Nangguang Qiushu said. Originally, I was going to leave for Shengjian Lake a few days ago, but the banker's affairs delayed me. I will go to Shengjian Lake in the next 2 days, so if I return to Jinling City, Miss Nangguang will help me make an appointment then. Mei Zuanshuang had come to see him 2 days ago and asked him when he could leave. Mei Zuanshuang did not ask much about the banker's money affairs. She still had some understanding of Su Chen, and the banker's affairs might involve a lot, so she did not ask. It's a pity. Let's meet again when young Master Su returns to Jinling. I'll go back and tell the palace master about this. Nangguang Qiushu stood up when she saw Su Chen and didn't stay any longer. Su Chen asked Yuan Suyan to send them off. Outside the Zhuang mansion, Nanguang Qiushu and the old man got on a carriage. Old Gui, are there any masters in the Zhuang family manor? Nanguang Qiushu asked. When I met Su Chen, there was a feeling of palpitation around me, but not in other places, the old man called Old Gui said. He and Nanguang Qiushu came here to investigate the situation of Su Chen and the Zhuang family manor. The matter of Paradise Palace was also something she casually mentioned, because she had not yet seen the Lord of Paradise Palace who came to Jinling City. Hearing the old man's words, Nanguang Qiushu nodded. It seems that Li Zhenhuan and the others are not in this Huangjia manor. The troublesome person in this Huangjia manor should be the man holding the double blades. Let's go to the waterside pavilion first. Father and the others should have almost finished their talk, Nanguang Qiushu said. At this moment, in another separate waterside pavilion, 5 figures gathered in the waterside pavilion. Among them, Nanguang Wenchen, who was dressed in a brocade robe, sat on the main chair. The 5 people were vaguely headed by him. 2 people sat on each side below him. Chapter 718, Cruel Plan to Surround and Kill Su Chen. On the left, one of the 2 people was Ho Wuxian from Huojiazhuang, who was dressed in black. Next to him was an old man in a silk robe. His face was red, his eyes were narrow, his nose was high, and he had a long beard under his chin. On his robe was embroidered a red character, which was the symbol of Jiangnan. The old man was a deputy hall master of Jiangnan, named Feng. Opposite them sat 2 people wearing masks. One was wearing a red robe with a scorpion icon embroidered on it. Ho Wuxian had seen the appearance of leader Ten Beichuan. Next to him was a person wearing a black robe and a ghost face mask, and he was the leader of Liu Yanzong. This time everyone gathered together, and they should agree with Brother Ho's proposal. Do you have any other ideas besides this proposal? If not, we will form an alliance here today, and take care of each other today, Nanguang Wenchen said. Wait, at this time, the leader of Liu Yanzong said. We, Kanmen, will not participate in any future affairs of the banker's bank. After the matter is successful, the profits that we, Kanmen, share can be exchanged for cash to us. Hearing the words of the Kanmen leader, Nanguang Wenchen frowned slightly. This move is not just to distribute the banker's bank, but also a secret alliance. If you exchange the cash and leave, the meaning is very clear, that is, you don't want to form an alliance. Don't you want to form an alliance? Nanguang Wenchen did not say anything, and the deputy hall master of Red Sun Hall, Wan Dongfeng spoke. If you don't want to form an alliance, what are you doing here? You can quit. The voice was cold and stern. Brother Wan, don't be angry. Brother Liu, this is a good opportunity. The Qinglong Club's momentum in Jiangnan has now overshadowed us. If this continues, we may become a second-rate killer organization. Tang Beichuan said. He had to get Kanmen to join in the fight, and even if there were losses, they, Baian, could not suffer any losses. This time, it was not just to deal with the young leader of Qinglong Society, but also to target the Qinglong Society in Jinling City. More people, more strength. While he was speaking, a hurried figure walked in from outside the door. Master, urgent news from the capital. The man handed the secret letter in his palm to Nanguang Wenchen. Immediately, the expressions of several people in the hall became solemn. They knew what the urgent news from the capital was about. Nanguang Wenchen opened the urgent news, and his expression changed after checking it. Then he handed the urgent news to them and put it on the table beside him. The 4 of you can take a look together. The 4 people stepped forward, and after reading it, their faces changed drastically, and they returned to their seats. The expressions of several people were very solemn. They knew that the turmoil in the world of Great Zhou had begun. There were 2 urgent reports. The first was that Emperor Zhou had broken through his serious injuries and was in seclusion again. The second was that the Emperor's master was the second leader of the Evil Alliance. The incident on the 15th day of the full moon was planned by the Emperor's master himself in order to deal with the Xianwu Garden. The Xianwu Garden was destroyed, but he was also killed by the people of the Qinglong Society. Kanmen, agreed to the alliance. Liu Yanzong, who had disagreed before, spoke at this time. The news that the Qinglong Society killed the Emperor's master will spread in the world of Great Zhou today, and its momentum will be further improved. The momentum of Kanmen and Baian in Jiangnan has been suppressed, and now the momentum of Qinglong Society is even higher. For them, This is the most unwilling to see. I thought that Chief Liu would back down after reading the urgent report, Wan Dongfang of the Red Sun Palace said. Humph. I'm afraid that you, Red Sun Palace, will back down. After all, if the Blue Dragon Society knew that you, Red Sun Palace, had taken action, they would probably assassinate your Red Sun Palace, and you, Red Sun Palace, wouldn't be able to withstand it, Liu Yanzong said with a sneer. You, seeing this, Wan Dongfang's face was furious. You two value peace. Since Brother Liu has agreed to take action, I will tell you my plan. The Blue Dragon Society has a grudge against the Paradise Palace. After the death of the previous palace master of the Paradise Palace, the people behind the Paradise Palace sent another palace master. At that time, we can pretend to be people from the Paradise Palace, take action against Su Chen, and attack the black market. Blue Dragon Society base, Nanguang Wenchen said. I didn't expect that the head of the Nanguang family had already made preparations. It is rumored that the Paradise Palace has some relationship with the great General Wang Duguwei for me. Let the Qinglong Society fight Duguwei. It will probably be very exciting, Tang Beichuan said softly after hearing this. The person behind Jile Palace is not Duguwei, but someone above Xianmen. Duguwei is just relying on the power of that person, Nanguang Wenchen said. As the oldest family in Jingling, the Nanguang family knows a lot of things. Of course, there are also many strong people in their Nanguang family who have entered Xianmen. Is that so? It will be more interesting if the Qinglong Society fights with the people of Xianmen. Wan Dongfang of the Red Sun Hall smiled. This matter has been resolved, but the flying knife in the hand of Li Zunhuan, the second dragon head of the Qinglong Society, is not ordinary. I am not sure I can dodge it. Remnant Dream, Liu Yanzong said in a deep voice. There is already a countermeasure for this matter. My whole family got a top-level shield a few years ago. I believe it should be able to block Li Zunhuan's flying knife. What's more, as long as we block his knife, others can get close to him. Once he gets close, he will have no advantage and cannot send out flying knives. He can only be killed, Ho Wusheng said at this time. But there is one thing, Su Chen and the Qinglong Society are not together. Do we have to attack separately? Tang Beichuan said. No, we kill Su Chen first, and when we kill Su Chen, notify the Black Market, Qinglong Society, and ask them to rescue him. From the scene of Su Chen and Li Zunhuan's meeting at that time, Li Zunhuan will take people to rescue Su Chen as soon as possible. At that time, we will take the initiative, set up an ambush, and wait for the opportunity, Nanguang Wenchen said. Hearing Nanguang Wenchen's words, the other people showed deep fear in their eyes. The calculation is deep. Then follow the arrangements of the head of the Nanguang family. The four stood up and said. The four of you stay in Jinling City and wait for my notification for specific actions. We can take action at any time, Nanguang Wenchen said. Okay. After the four of them finished speaking, they quickly left the water pavilion. When they left, Nanguang Qiushu and the old man walked into the water pavilion. Hello, father, Nanguang Qiushu saluted to Nanguang Wenchen. How is the investigation of the Zhuang family manor and the area around Su Chen going? Nanguang Wenchen said. There are not many masters in the Zhuang family. The masters are all by Su Chen's side. Among them, the one who makes Gui Lao nervous is the man holding the double blades. If you want to deal with the black market, Qinglong Society, I suggest that you can attack the Zhuang family manor directly, kill Su Chen and the others, lure the masters of the Qinglong Society to come and surround and kill them, Nanguang Qiushu said calmly. Hearing Nanguang Qiushu's words, Nanguang Wenchen smiled. Qiushu, your idea is the same as mine. You are fully qualified to be the next head of the Nanguang family. Chapter 719, Paradise Palace, New Palace Master, Wei Zhuang's suspicion. Their previous plan was to attack Su Chen after he went to the Holy Sword Lake. But now, the best way is to attack the Zhuang family's manor. Do we need to send someone to investigate the Qinglong base in the black market? Nanguang Qiushu said. We don't need to show up. Kanmen and Bayan can know the situation of the Qinglong base in the black market. Our Nanguang family should not show up directly. Does the person from Jile Palace know where the other party is? Since this matter is to be blamed on Jile Palace, then the new palace master of Jile Palace must be found as soon as possible and controlled by us. If we can't control her, let her die, Nangguang Wenchen changed the subject and asked about Jile Palace. The other party has not shown up yet, but I am sure that the other party should already be in Jinling City. I will get the other party's information within a day. Su Chen should leave Jinling City and go to the Holy Sword Lake in the next 2 days. If we take action, we can only do it tomorrow, Nangguang Qiushu said. You arrange this matter, I will send someone to notify the other 4 people. If this matter is completed, Jing Beihou family, Red Sun Palace, Remnant Dream, and the other shore, will have the opportunity to be included in my Nangguang family, Nangguang Wenchen said. He not only wants to form an alliance with these 4 families, he wants to gradually control these 4 forces through the alliance. Make the Nangguang family stronger. Father, your plan will definitely succeed, and the Nangguang family will definitely go further under your hands, Nangguang Qiushu said. Okay, you go and arrange it. I want to know where the new palace master of Paradise Palace is tomorrow morning, Nangguang Wenchen said. Nangguang Qiushu bowed and left. Master, you put a lot of pressure on the eldest lady. After Nangguang Qiushu left, Nagalao, who followed Nangguang Qiushu, said, Look at this. Nangguang Wenchen waved his hand, and the urgent report on the table flew towards the old man. The old man raised his hand and grabbed the urgent report in his hand. After reading it, his eyes condensed and he said in a deep voice, The Great Zhou martial arts world is going to be in chaos. I just don't know what kind of turmoil it will be this time. What it will be is not important. What is important is what our Nangguang family will gain from this turmoil. The turmoil in the martial arts world is the opportunity for us martial arts forces to go further, Nangguang Wenchen said. Another place on the top floor of a building ship beside Jinling Lake. A middle-aged woman in purple was sitting in a spacious private room. She was elegant and extraordinary. Her slender jade fingers were brewing tea. The fragrance of tea was far away and echoed in the room. Opposite her, there was a young man about 23 or 24 years old, wearing brocade clothes, with a jade pendant carved with dragons on his waist, and a handsome appearance. Master, don't we see Nangguang Qiushu? The young man looked at the middle-aged woman who was brewing tea. It's not the right time yet. I'm still investigating the situation in Jinling City. The woman in the white dress picked up the ceramic teapot in front of her, poured a cup of tea for the young man, and said, Nangguang Qiushu has been in charge of Jile Palace for a while. Can't we learn more about the situation in Jinling City from her? The young man asked in confusion. There was a hint of anxiety in his eyes. It seems that you are very attracted to Nangguang Qiushu. However, sir, although your mother wants to match you with Nangguang Qiushu, your master thinks that Nangguang Qiushu is not a good match for you. Children of noble families are often ruthless. Once the interests of their family are involved, they will give up everything. The family made them successful, and they also need to give back to the family. This is why some ancient noble families have always existed. Nangguang Qiushu is the eldest daughter of Nangguang Wenchen. She is talented and beautiful, and she has been fully trained by Nangguang Wenchen. Such a woman will become a pawn once the interests of the Nangguang family are involved. The first reason we came here this time is to take charge of the Elysium Palace, and the second is to find the person who killed your mother. You must not forget the purpose of our coming here for the sake of personal feelings, the woman in white skirt said. At this point, the young man in brocade clothes was stunned, and a cold light appeared on his face. Master, don't worry, I will definitely find the person who killed my mother and cut him into pieces, the young man in brocade clothes said here. That's good to know, but if I don't show up, you can still get in touch with Nangguang Qiushu. The woman in the white dress took a sip of tea and said. Hearing the woman in the white dress asking him to meet Nangguang Qiushu, the young man in brocade clothes flashed a hint of joy in his eyes. Go, but don't expose my position. The woman in the white dress put down the teacup in her hand and said. Yes, master. The young man in brocade clothes bowed and left. After the young man left, the woman in the white dress sighed. What is love in the world? When she sighed, a man in black came out from the dark. The man was about 30 years old, not good-looking, with cold eyes. Palace Master, the young Palace Master has obviously been confused by Nangguang Qiushu. If you let him go like this, I'm afraid your position will be exposed, the man said in a deep voice. I just want to see how the Nangguang family reacts to me, and I also want to test Setter's determination. The Paradise Palace suffered heavy losses this time, and the master is not very satisfied, and there is Zhao Xiaodi. I found her, and I want to know how she can get rid of the constraints of the practice. A furnace cauldron must have the meaning of being a furnace cauldron. She thinks that joining the Blue Dragon Society can get rid of the Paradise Palace. She is a little crazy. When the woman in the white dress spoke, murderous intent flashed in her eyes. Let's go to another base. After saying that, the woman in the white dress stood up. She left the building with a man in black. The Black Market, Blue Dragon Society, base. In a pavilion. Zhao Ziyoti, wearing a red dress, was standing in front of Wei Zhuang. Are you saying that the new palace master of the Paradise Palace is in Jinling City? Wei Zhuang said in a deep voice, tapping the table with his palm. I have some secret moves in Paradise Palace. According to the information they feed back, the new palace master of Paradise Palace may have arrived in Jinling City. However, this new palace master of Paradise Palace has never appeared and has not seen anyone from Paradise Palace. Zhao Ziyoti said in a deep voice. The new palace master of Paradise Palace appears, and the biggest crisis is her. Because she betrayed Paradise Palace. You mean that the palace master of Paradise Palace has never shown up and has not seen anyone? Wei Zhuang frowned slightly. He just received news from Yuan Suyin that the palace master of Paradise Palace wanted to meet with Xiaolong Xiao. If the other party did not show up secretly, why would he want to meet with Xiaolong Xiao at this time? Wei Zhuang had a little doubt in his heart at this time. Bai Feng, you helped Zhao Ziyoti investigate the whereabouts of the palace master of Paradise Palace, Wei Zhuang said after thinking for a moment. Yes, Bai Feng, who was standing aside, accepted the order. Chapter 720, The more beautiful a person is, the more poisonous he is. The enemy attacks the Zhuang family's manor. Qinhu Nangguang Qiushu is sitting in a pavilion on the Qinhu Island. This pavilion was exactly where the previous master of the Paradise Palace lived. Her eyes, like autumn water, were looking out the window. She was waiting for someone. Waiting for Dugu said, the young master of the Paradise Palace. Outside the pavilion, drops of rain fell. The whole island was shrouded like a fairy island. Standing by the window of the pavilion, Nangguang Qiushu was wearing a purple long skirt, her face showing a pensive look, and in the hazy water vapor, she looked like a fairy in the fairy palace. Creak, the door of the pavilion was opened. A young man in brocade clothes pushed the door open and put down the oil paper umbrella in his hand. The person who came was Dugu said, the young master of the Paradise Palace. Looking at Nangguang Qiushu by the window, there was a look of joy in her eyes. When Nangguang Qiushu saw the young man coming in, she closed the window, turned around and said, I wonder what the young master Dugu asked me to come for. Nangguang Qiushu's words seemed a little strange and a little cold. Dugu said he didn't care. Nangguang Qiushu always treated him like this. He slowly stepped forward and said, Qiushu, I came here to ask you to help me find out what happened to my mother. My Nangguang family is also investigating, but we don't have any clues. The other party destroyed the body and left no clues. It's very difficult to investigate, Nangguang Qiushu said in a deep voice. When the voice fell, Nangguang Qiushu said again, I heard that the new palace master came to Jinling City. Can I meet the palace master? The reason why Nangguang Qiushu met Dugu Se was to meet the new palace master. Hearing this, Dugu Se shook his head and said, the palace master has other things to do and it is not convenient for him to show up for the time being. Although Dugu Se liked Nangguang Qiushu, he couldn't disobey his master's order. Is that so? Then wait until the palace master is done, and then go to see the palace master. You are in Jinling City now, so the affairs of the Paradise Palace will also be managed by you. I will stay in the Nangguang family recently. Nangguang Qiushu prepared to leave. Chu Shui, you know what I think of you. I came to Jinling this time for our marriage. I am going to propose to Uncle Nangguang. Seeing Nangguang Chu Shui was about to leave, Dugu Se spoke. Hearing this, Nangguang Chu Shui frowned slightly, but then relaxed, looking at Dugu Se and said, I'm afraid you don't have that chance. Hearing Nangguang Chu Shui say this, Dugu Se was a little confused. Don't you feel that there is something wrong with the key in your body? Nangguang Chu Shui said in a deep voice. The key in your body? Dugu Se heard this, his expression moved, and he felt the key in his body, and suddenly found that the key in his body was being consumed rapidly. And his limbs felt a little soft. Chu Shui, what are you doing? I put a colorless and tasteless Shiansu softening powder in this room, Nangguang Chu Shui said in a calm tone. What do you want to do? Why did you poison me? Dugu Se asked angrily. Because the new palace master is on guard against our Nangguang family. If you had just told me where the new palace master is, maybe this wouldn't be necessary. Since the new palace master is on guard against our Nangguang family, then I can only resort to this last resort, to control you and use you for our Nangguang family. Nangguang Qiushu's eyes were calm and her tone was also very calm. But while she was speaking, 5 very thin silver needles appeared in her palm. Seeing Du Guse's face suddenly change, he tried his best to mobilize the true energy in his body, but he couldn't mobilize it at all, and his body was limp, with a sign of falling to the ground. Nangguang Qiushu didn't care about Du Guse's anger, and her figure flashed and appeared in front of the other party. The 5 silver needles in her palm instantly pierced into the other party's head. Du Guse's face became ferocious. He wanted to make a sound, but a slender jade hand grabbed his throat, making him unable to make a sound. After a while, Nangguang Qiushu let go of Du Guse's throat. Du Guse's body fell to the ground. Nangguang Qiushu slowly opened the window, and a breeze entered the room. Outside the door, an old man walked in. The old man was Jiu Ilao, who had followed Nangguang Qiushu to see Su Chen. Du Guse came alone, no one else followed him, Jiu Ilao said. Nangguang Qiushu came in front of Du Guse. With a suction of her palm, the rain outside the window condensed in her palm and fell on Du Guse's face. The unconscious Du Guse slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were blurred at first, but then returned to normal. Tell me about the situation of our new palace master? Where is she now? Nangguang Qiushu said. The new palace master is my master, named Lan Pizi, one of the 4 great protectors under the master of Paradise Palace. The divine power she practices is called dark falling flowing fragrance, a divine power that can make people's minds have illusions. Now she is on a building ship in Jinling Lake City, Du Guse said. Who is the master of Paradise Palace? Have you ever seen him? I haven't seen him, but I know that his background is above Shineman, Du Guse continued to reply. Just as my father guessed, the master of Paradise Palace really has a background above Shineman, Nangguang Qiushui thought to himself. Miss, we already know the position of the master of Paradise Palace. Should we tell the master to take action? Jiu Ilao said. Du Guse has been controlled by me. He is the disciple of the master of Paradise Palace. It is not difficult to deal with him. Let's go back to see father first, deal with Su Chen first and take down the banker's bank. When Nangguang Qiushui finished speaking, he looked out the window. A violent storm, killing in the middle of the night. Tonight, the banker will change new people again. Night. The rain has stopped, and the stars are shining in the night sky. Banker's bank Zhuangzi is in front of Su Chen. Zhuangji Bank, I have almost completed the integration of various places, and the gold notes have been distributed. They can be exchanged in about half a month. I wonder where the young dragon chief will allocate this batch of cash, Zhuangzi said. Let Yuan Zhongguan arrange this matter. Now Su Chen is worth a lot of money, the money gang has been taken down, and the funds of the capital, Golden Wind and Rain Tower, will be connected by the money gang. Jiangnan Bank will support the development of Wizhuang. Jiangnan area is very large. King Longhu needs to establish a very large intelligence network in Jiangnan area. Only in this way can we know what is happening in various parts of Jiangnan. The more chaotic the rivers and lakes are, the more important intelligence becomes. When Su Chen was speaking, suddenly, Yuan Suiyan in the hall changed his expression and his ears moved. Master, there is an enemy attack. Hearing Yuan Suiyan's words, Su Chen's eyes turned cold. Young dragon chief, our bank has a secret passage. I will send you away first. Zhuangzi's face changed drastically and said. It doesn't matter, I really want to see who is coming. Su Chen's face was very calm. The other party actually chose to attack at night, so they would definitely not let him escape. Moreover, he wanted to see who was going to kill him. At this time, 5 figures appeared in this Huangjia manner, all of them covered their faces. Behind these 5 figures, there were dozens of men in black. Kill, one of them said. Dozens of men in black rushed into the manor in an instant. There were not many strong guards in this Huangjia manor, and they were all killed in a blink of an eye. Let's go meet the young leader of the Qinglong Society. 5 figures stepped on the corpses and headed towards the manor hall. Simple and rough, without caring about the people in the manor. Chapter 721, Remnant Dream, A Ray of Flowers, Liu Yanzong appears. In the hall of the manor, Su Chen's expression did not change at all. Yuan Suiyan stared outside the hall, while He Bai Zhuanjiang walked out from the dark. There was also Xiao Siwu in white. Yajiyu Tajima was guarding the King Longhu, base, so he did not follow Su Chen. Yuan Suiyan and Xiao Siwu looked a little solemn. Bai Zhuangjian looked calm. Compared with the other three, Zhuang Zuanji seemed extremely nervous. The other party came to the manor and must have done some investigation, so this time the attack might be unusual. Looking at Su Chen, who was drinking tea, seeing that his heart was so calm, the nervous expression relaxed a little. Bang! Bang! Several bodies were thrown outside the hall. Su Chen stood up. He said to Zhuang Zuanji, "Move my chair to the door, I really want to see who is coming to kill me." Although King Longhu has enemies, Wushan has been destroyed, and the remnants have joined other killer organizations. The palace master of Paradise Palace wanted to see him today, so he probably wouldn't make a move. So he didn't guess who was going to kill him. After the body fell, dozens of men in black appeared on the wall outside the hall. As soon as these men in black appeared, several flying knives appeared in Xiao Siwu's palm, and they instantly made a sound like a meteor. Swish! Swish! Several figures fell from the wall. But when Xiao Siwu was ready to make another move, a black light suddenly rushed out from the darkness, and the knife in his hand flashed very fast. Xiao Siwu moved his feet, and the flying knife in his hand flew out instantly. It collided with a long knife that was chopped down. There was a crisp sound of metal collision. At this time, another knife light appeared and attacked Xiao Siwu from behind. Swish! Just a figure rushed out instantly and appeared behind that person. A sword light flashed, and the black-clothed man who attacked was killed by a sword, and his body fell to the ground. The one who made the move was Yuan Suiyan. After Yuan Suiyan made his move, he flew out like a bat, the sword in his hand flashed, and a sword mark appeared on the chest of the man in black on the wall, and his body fell to the ground. As for Xiao Siwu, the flying knives in his hand flew out one after another. The opponent blocked the first few flying knives, but was pierced in the throat by the hidden flying knife. When he killed the man in black, he was locked by a breath. The breath burst out a terrifying air wave, and a man in black appeared in front of him, and the tide-like air force around him enveloped Xiao Siwu. Xiao Siwu's body was blocked for a while. The hand holding the flying knife was suppressed by this air force, and it trembled a little. A flying knife master, once his hand trembles, it means that his heart is unstable, and if his heart is unstable, then his flying knife will have no power. He can't kill his opponent. Of course, the main reason is that the opponent is stronger than him. The opponent's breath suppressed Xiao Siwu, and his body moved. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Xiao Siwu, raised his palm, and grabbed Xiao Siwu's head with one palm. Boom! But at this moment, the night, which had already darkened, became even darker. Black and white Zhuangjian attacked. The terrifying divine power enveloped the opponent. Swish! Xiao Siwu flew out with a flying knife and pierced the opponent's throat in an instant. He quickly retreated and came to Su Chen's side. Sweat beads fell from his forehead. The opponent put a lot of pressure on him. Zhuangjian appeared, and the terrifying divine power made the surrounding atmosphere seem extremely solemn. 5 figures appeared. These 5 figures burst out with 5 terrifying divine powers at the same time, blocking the divine power that Zhuangjian enveloped. They looked at Zhuangjian at the same time, and the cold and piercing murderous intent burst out from the eyes of these 5 people, making the surroundings full of sultry night, and the temperature dropped instantly. Kill! One of the figures stepped on the ground, and the figure flew out. A very thin soft sword appeared in his hand instantly, and he attacked black and white Zhuangjian like a spirit snake. Sword Shadow 13, in the blink of an eye, the sword light changed and turned into 13 sword shadows. Zhuangjian's eyes turned cold, and his figure rushed out instantly, turning into a black light. The double blades in his hand slashed in one direction as if they were extremely sharp. Clang! The sword shadow was cut and collided with a stabbing long sword. There was a sound of metal collision. But when the extremely thin long sword was cut, the tip of the sword suddenly turned and went towards Zhuangjian's throat. Zhuangjian moved the long sword in his left hand sideways to block the turning sword tip, raised the long sword in his right hand, and slashed it with one sword. The speed was so fast. Help! Seeing this situation, one of the 5 people who appeared raised his palm, and a black evil spirit appeared in his palm. Blood evil star shattering fist, the person who made the move shouted, clenched his palm into a fist, and punched Zhuangjian who made the move. The fist collided with a long sword very quickly. Bang! The body retreated 2 steps, but in an instant, The palm grabbed the ground and the stones on the ground were grabbed. Bang! The stone was grabbed and enveloped Zhuangjian. Zhuangjian chopped the stone with his right hand. The stone was shattered by the sword energy. The broken stones flew. Phantom trace, but at this moment, the man who had attacked earlier turned into a black shadow and escaped from Zhuangjian's left sword. The sword shadow rushed towards Zhuangjian's throat with the broken stones. Bang! Zhuangjian's ki shook the falling broken stones away, and the long sword in his left hand appeared at the throat, blocking the stabbing sword. And the long sword in his right hand quickly chopped out. When slashing out, the divine power that was previously offset suddenly rose up and pressed on the person who drew the sword. The person who appeared only felt a weight all over his body. The divine power on his body burst out to relieve it, but Zhuangjian's right long sword had already fallen. Swish! The other person's body was cut in half by the sword. Kill! The eyes of the man who punched earlier changed, and his fists clenched tightly. The black bloody light surged, and two fists burst out from his fists at the same time. Two terrifying energies attacked Zhuangjian fiercely with overbearing impact. Zhuangjian turned his double-edged sword backhand and immediately slashed out, cutting off the two energies. His figure attacked the man who punched like a ghost. "Why don't you make a move?" the man who punched shouted. At this moment, suddenly, a hazy mist appeared in the courtyard, and a figure appeared in the mist, grabbing Zhuangjian's back with his palm. The claw wind was as fierce as a torrential rain. Zhuangjian's long sword turned instantly and slashed at the opponent, but the opponent's figure disappeared in the instant when the sword light came over, and appeared in a place, looking at Zhuangjian. The figure who appeared was wearing a mask. His eyes were cold. The leader of Kanmen, Kanho Yixin. This person is the leader of Kanmen, Liu Yanzong. Zhuangzi, who was beside Su Chen, said. Zhuangzi had some understanding of the leaders of the three major killer organizations in Jiangnan. Although these people rarely show up, the traces of their actions are signs. Looking for death, hearing Zhuangzi calling out his name, the eyes of Kanming leader Liu Yanzong on his mask turned cold, and he grabbed the leaves that had just fallen in the courtyard. With a wave of his hand, the leaves that had been caught in his hand instantly whistled towards Zhuangzi and Su Chen. The leaves were like a rain of knives. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 722, Yan Kuangtu's momentum suppressed the whole audience and killed one person with one punch. Zhuangzi's face changed, and she wanted to block Su Chen. But Su Chen raised his palm, and a gravity pressed on Zhuangzi, making Zhuangzi unable to move. Don't worry, at the moment Su Chen spoke, four figures appeared, and their palms stretched out instantly, grabbing all the falling leaves that were flying in their hands, and shot back violently. Boom! Seeing this, Liu Yanzong, who made the move, slapped his palms and shattered all the falling leaves that were flying in. His eyes looked at the four figures standing in front of Su Chen. The four people joined forces and had a long breath. Their eyes condensed. At this time, one of the three figures who had not yet made a move, stepped on the ground, and flew down directly, like a flying eagle hunting for prey, and a wave of red-hot flame energy appeared in his palm, attacking the four ghosts of Xiangxi. Boom! The four ghosts of Xiangxi rushed out, and the four figures merged into one. They collided with the palms of the people who made the move. Bang! The two forces collided, but at the moment of the palms, the figure instantly split into four and surrounded the person who made the move. Divine power, bursting sky flames. Suddenly, a fiery divine power emerged from the opponent. The two palms slapped out. The airwaves rolled. The four figures who made the move instantly joined together, and the palms bombarded out, without being affected by the divine power. The four ghosts of Xiangxi have joined forces to fight the top. Concentrate in the sea. Bang! The palm power collided again. At the moment of the collision, a figure suddenly stretched out and his palm passed across the opponent's chest. Swish! A blood mark appeared on his chest. Feeling the pain, the figure quickly retreated, but the speed of the four ghosts of Xiangxi was faster than him. They surrounded him in an instant, not giving the opponent a chance to burst out divine power. For a while, the battlefield only felt the figures constantly turning. Bang! The person who made the move was hit by a palm on the back. Another palm passed across the opponent's face, and the mask on his face was instantly shattered, revealing his true appearance. Zhang Fan, one of the 4 guardians of the Red Sun Palace, seeing this person's face, Zhuang Zuanji's expression changed. Hearing Zhuang Zuanji call out the identity of the person, a figure landed in the courtyard, and this person was not wearing a mask. Wan Dongfeng, one of the 2 deputy hall masters of the Red Sun Palace, Zhuang Zuanji continued to call out the name of the figure that fell. It's interesting, the Red Sun Palace and Kanming actually joined forces to deal with me. I'm really proud of myself, Su Chen smiled. At this moment, on the roof of a building in the manor, 3 figures were standing, looking at the hall in the distance. The leader was Nanguang Wenshan, and beside him were Ho Wusheng and Nanguang Keishu. Ho Wusheng's strength was a little weak, he would not take action, just watching the battle. Nanguang Wenshan did not intend to take action. There were other masters participating in the Nanguang family, and they were unknown masters. I didn't expect that there were 4 people besides Su Chen. From what they did just now, it seems that the 4 of them working together are no match for the concentrated strongmen, Nanguang Keishu said. All of this is within expectations. Wan Dongfeng should be able to suppress these 4 people, with Liu Yanzong and the others restraining the double-edged swordsman. Tang Beichuan should be able to kill Su Chen with 1 strike. As for Yuan Su Ian, Zhang Fan can restrain him, and the 2 people from my Nanguang family don't have to make a move, Nanguang Wenshan said in a very calm voice. You go deal with Yuan Su Ian, and leave these 4 to me, Wan Dongfeng said to Zhang Fan. The injured Zhang Fan moved and appeared in front of Yuan Su Ian. Seeing this, Yuan Su Ian pointed his toes and instantly appeared, with a longsword in his right hand heading for the vital points on the opponent's body. His figure was accompanied by the sword light, and his speed was extremely fast. Zhang Fan was obviously stunned. But he stretched out his palm, and the flame of true energy spread and grabbed the sword light. The sword light was blocked by the flame key, but a cold key appeared in the palm of Yuan Su Ian's left hand, and the key flowed in his palm. The sword light did not change, and he continued to attack. His figure kept getting closer. The sharp sword light forced the opponent Zhang Fan to retreat step by step. Suddenly the sword light disappeared, and his left hand stretched out, grabbing the opponent's head with a sharp claw force. Boom! At this moment, a figure who had not made a move before suddenly stepped out, and a terrifying momentum burst out around his body. He opened his palm and punched out. The punch shattered the surrounding air and condensed the air. Yuan Su Ian was shocked and quickly returned his fist. Bang! His fist collided with the opponent's fist, but his body was knocked back and fell in front of Su Chen. Puff! Yuan Su Ian wanted to stand up, but a mouthful of blood spurted out. The ki in his body was chaotic. Su Chen's face changed and his eyes looked at the person who made the move. Yuan Su Ian was injured by a punch. The opponent was definitely a top-notch concentrated strong man. Just when Su Chen's expression changed, a blood-colored figure appeared in the dark, and the blood-colored palm was like a blood lotus, covering Su Chen. Before the palm arrived, the terrifying key pressure had already arrived, and the seat where Su Chen sat collapsed instantly. Zhuang Zuanji was pressed to kneel on the ground. The ki on Su Chen's body flowed to block this pressure. A fierce light flashed in his eyes. The Yan Kuo to experience card instantly emerged from his body. Boom! The suppression of the blood-colored palm force was instantly shattered by this ki. Seeing this, the figure who made the move quickly retreated, did not slap the palm, and fell to the side, looking at Su Chen with horror. Su Chen stood up, and a terrifying ki vortex appeared on his body. And a breath that did not belong to Su Chen burst out. The surrounding air began to become extremely dull under this momentum. The person who had attacked earlier, sensing this momentum, looked towards Su Chen at the same time. Zhuang Zuanji, who had been suppressed by the ki force earlier, wanted to stand up just as the ki force disappeared, but because he was close to Su Chen, he was pressed to the ground by this violent ki force. He looked at Su Chen with horror. Lin Ti. You are from the heavenly gate. Seeing the aura that did not belong to him burst out from Su Chen, the person who attacked was startled and spoke. But Su Chen did not respond to him. He moved his body and appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. Divine power, move the white acupoints. The person opposite him sensed the pressure and shouted. Suddenly, hundreds of acupoints in the body burst instantly, forming a force that wanted to suppress Su Chen. Su Chen raised his palm. A vague figure appeared behind him, exuding a domineering, brutal, an invincible aura, which directly shattered the rising divine power. Boom. At this time, Su Chen punched out. The punch was thrown, the mountain shook, and the surrounding air collapsed. The mask on the face of the man who attacked Su Chen broke, revealing the face of Tang Beichuan. He looked at Su Chen's fist with horror. Bang! The fist landed on the opponent, and Tang Beichuan's whole body was blown up by the fist, turning into a ball of flesh and blood. One blow. Just one blow killed Tang Beichuan. Go. At this time, the man who had previously attacked Yuan Suiyan changed his face and said to the people beside him, "Go, can you go?" Su Chen took a step and his figure suddenly appeared in front of the opponent. His palm fell directly, and the terrifying force instantly pressed on the opponent's body, making it impossible for him to leave. Bang! The body was directly shaken by this palm and flew backwards, hitting the wall. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out, and then the head fell, and there was no breath. Chapter 723, Kill everyone in the audience. 2 strikes, 2 killed. Everyone present was shocked at this moment. The face of Liu Yanzong, the leader of Kan Meng, changed. His figure turned into a phantom. Kan Hu Yixin, the leader of Kan Meng, Liu Yanzong, can turn himself into a shadow. This body movement is extremely fast. But when he moved, Su Chen's figure appeared beside him, and the violent energy around him suppressed his figure. "None of you can escape today," Su Chen's cold voice sounded in his ears. Then a big hand appeared above his head. "Young Master Su," Liu Yanzong wanted to say something, but Su Chen's palm did not stop at all, and he chopped the opponent's head with one palm. Bang! The head was hit directly into the neck. Instantly, the body fell to the ground. "Do you still want to escape? I want to see who wants to escape." Su Chen looked at the few people left in the yard with cold eyes. Tisk, tisk, tisk. At this time, Xiao Siwu's flying knives kept flying out, and some of the black-clothed people hiding in the dark had their throats pierced in an instant. These people didn't know Su Chen had taken action. At this moment, Su Chen's face was extremely angry. He only had one Yan Kuang to experience card on him, and he was a little unwilling to use it up like this. He raised his palm. With one palm, he sucked Zhang Fan, who had previously fought with Yuan Suiyan, into his palm. The violent force made Zhang Fan unable to fight back, and his throat was grabbed by Su Chen. "Tell you, who planned this?" Zhang Fan, who was caught by Su Chen, felt that his heart was squeezed by the violent energy, and it seemed that it was about to explode, and his whole body was not breathing smoothly. Zhang, as soon as he spoke, a burst of energy burst out from the palm of Wan Dongfeng, the deputy hall master of the Red Sun Hall, and flew out and pierced Zhang Fan's heart, who was being held by Su Chen. Su Chen looked at the other party. "You are very courageous. You actually killed the people in my hand, Wan Dongfeng, the deputy hall master of Red Sun Hall. You should know more." Su Chen stepped forward, and the terrifying pressure that erupted from his body suppressed the other party. Wan Dongfeng, the deputy hall master of Red Sun Hall, was pale, and beads of sweat kept falling on his forehead. The reason why he killed Zhang Fan was that once they revealed the people behind them, they would have no way to survive. Not only did Nanguang Wenchen in the dark want to kill them, but even Su Chen would not let them go. It is better to take a gamble and bet that Nanguang Wenchen would rescue them. Nanguang Wenchen is the patriarch of the Nanguang family. Su Chen is now in the presence of a strong man. As long as the time of this approaching is delayed, it is the time to kill Su Chen. "Father, at this time, Nanguang Chu Shui in the dark looked at his father. No wonder Su Chen can become the young leader of Green Dragon Club. It turns out that he was favored by someone above Xianmen." Nanguang Wenchen narrowed his eyes slightly. They had investigated Su Chen's background and found that he could not be someone above Xianmen. But he could have a strong man around him, which meant that a strong man above Xianmen took a fancy to him and gave him such ability. "Master Nanguang, what should we do now?" Ho Wuxian, who was beside Nanguang Wenchen, said nervously. He never expected that there was a strong man above Xianmen behind Su Chen. Now the plan has completely failed. The people who came suffered heavy losses and could not surround and kill the people who came from Qinglong Club. "Chu Shui, you go back to the Nanguang family first," Nanguang Wenchen said to Nanguang Chu Shui. "Father, you this way." Nanguang Chu Shui frowned slightly and said, "We have already made a move, and there is a flaw. Su Chen must die. Only after he dies can we frame Jile Palace for Su Chen's death." Nanguang Wenchen said, "With so many people, As long as they investigate, with the current power of the Qinglong society, it will not be difficult to find out that this matter is related to their Nanguang family, so Su Chen must die. The people in the Zhuang family manor must be destroyed. No trace should be left. Nangang Chu Shui nodded, turned and left. Ho Wuxian could not leave, because Nangang Wenxian did not leave, and he could not leave either. In the scene, Su Chen stood in front of Wan Dongfeng. Tell me, how many forces are there here? Su Chen looked at Wan Dongfeng and said coldly. I won't tell you. Wan Dongfeng said with all his strength. But when he finished speaking, Su Chen's palm had already been printed on the opponent's chest. Bang! The body flew backwards, blood spurted out of the mouth, and hit the wall. Then the body fell to the ground. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Now there are only two people left, one who had fought with He Bai Zhuanjian before, the one who punched, and a man in black who did not fight. There are two left. Come and tell me, where are you from? Su Chen did not look at the man in black who did not fight, but asked the man who had fought with Zhuanjian before. The man in black was pale. He cursed in his heart. This is the plan. This is this Huangjia manner without threat. Although the man in black cursed, he dared not say it, because once he spoke, he would surely die. Are you afraid of him? Su Chen turned his eyes to the man in black who did not fight. Then I will kill him, so you should have no fear. Su Chen looked at the man in black. Do you want to do it yourself, or do you want me to blow you up with one punch? His tone was cold and brutal. Divine power, whale falling sky power. The man in black did not speak, but shouted in a low voice. When his divine power was unleashed, the energy in his body was running at full power like a whirlpool, and the air and energy around him rushed into his body in the blink of an eye. Unlike the divine power of others, his divine power is to increase the strength in his body, allowing himself to deliver the strongest blow. The surrounding air was gusting violently, and rolling air currents poured into the opponent's body. For a moment, the opponent's energy surged. A terrifying gust of wind erupted from his body. He kicked the ground with his foot and his figure suddenly rose up. Tiger Soul Divine Fist, a punch was thrown, and the huge energy on his fist turned into the figure of a white tiger, attacking Su Chen. Humph! Facing this punch, Su Chen just snorted coldly. What he is experiencing now is Yan Kuang-tu. Who is Yan Kuang-tu? He is the strongest person in Wenshu, the founder of the Power Gang, the father of Li Chen's Hao, the strongest man in the world, and the most crazy man in the world. He founded the Power Gang, and he was in both black and white. He commanded the world and no one dared to disobey. He dominated the world all his life and took pleasure in revenge. Although he was not a treacherous person, he was willful and reckless, and he killed too many people. In the end, he was betrayed by his men. All the good hands in the black and white world came out to surround and kill him. That battle was so cruel that ghosts cried and gods howled, covering the sky and the sun, and blood flowed into rivers. Although there was no place on his body that was not injured, Yan Kuang-tu still killed and injured many people, flew up and left. Absolutely strong, an absolute overlord. No one can be a match for such a person. No matter how strong you are, under his palm, it is still just a palm. The palm was raised, and a terrifying energy burst out from his palm. The palm smashed a figure of the white tiger and finally imprinted on the other party's body. Chapter 724, Bring out Nanguang Wenchen and blast him. Bang! The key penetrated the opponent's body, leaving a bloody hole in his chest. The time for the coming life is limited, you must die. Although his chest was pierced, the man in black did not die for a while. He looked at Su Chen, and after speaking, his body fell to the ground. Now you can speak. Su Chen looked at the other party. While speaking, he gradually concealed the breath of Yan Kuang-tu. Just now, the other party said that the time for the coming life was limited, so Su Chen let the breath of Yan Kuang-tu on his body gradually disappear. Perhaps it would make the people in the dark think that there was a chance to attack. He didn't know what the other party was talking about, but he had some knowledge of his current physical condition. With the Yan Kuang-tu experience card, he could at least have 2 hours of peak strength. As for the person in front of him, he didn't have much hope. He hoped that this person would speak, because in this way, he could use the remaining time of Yan Kuang-tu to slaughter some people. This matter is Jiang Bei. The man in black sweated on his forehead and spoke. When he mentioned Jiang Bei, a black light went behind the other party, but was blocked by a sword light. Black and white Zhuanjian made a move to block the black light that had just been shut out. Then black and white Zhuangjian looked in one direction. A black figure turned around and fled without looking back. But his speed was a little slower. Black and white Zhuangjian's divine power enveloped the opponent, and then the figure turned into a black light and appeared in front of the opponent. The long sword pierced into the opponent's chest fiercely. Time wasted. The breath of Yan Kuang-tuan Su Chen disappeared. Continue. Although the breath of Yan Kuang-tuan Su Chen disappeared, his expression was still calm. The man in black also sensed the disappearance and change of Su Chen's breath. A cold light flashed in the depths of his eyes. No matter what he said or not, Su Chen would probably not let him go. So he might as well fight to the death and kill him before Su Chen had a strong man. This matter was organized by the Zhang Bei whole family, the man in black said. Zhang Bei whole family. Su Chen frowned slightly, and for a moment he didn't think of any grudges between him and the Zhang Bei whole family, and then thought. Ho Xingchen from the Zhang Bei whole family seemed to be the person Zhuang Zuanji asked to kill last time. While Su Chen was thinking in his heart, the black-clothed man moved, raised his palm, and clawed towards Su Chen's head. But when he moved, the four ghosts of Xiangxi appeared in front of him, and all four palms were printed on his chest. Bang! All of the energy poured into the opponent's chest. The chest exploded. Blood spurted out of his mouth and fell to the ground. It seems that what you said is not true, but I still have a trick up my sleeve. Bring that Wandong Feng to me. I just left him a breath, when Su Chen just made a move, although he slapped Wandong Feng with a palm. But he didn't kill him, and he still had a breath left. Soon, the unconscious Wandong Feng was brought in front of him by Xiao Siwu. He looked at Zhuang Zuanji. Zhuang Zuanji, who had already climbed up from the ground at this moment, looked very unhappy. Just now, she was pressed to the ground by Su Chen's momentum, and her posture was extremely ugly. Seeing Su Chen looking over, his face first turned red. But he quickly walked into the house, brought a cup of tea, and came to Su Chen. The tea was instantly poured on Wandong Feng's face. Wandong Feng gradually woke up from coma, but the severe pain in his body made him roar. Su Chen looked at the other party and a light appeared in his eyes. The other party's eyes changed. Tell me, besides you, Red Sun Palace, and Remnant Dream, what other forces are there, and why do you want to attack me? Su Chen asked. The other shore, leader Tang Beichuan was beaten by Su Chen before he could attack, so Su Chen didn't know about the other shore. There is also the whole family, the Nangong family, the other shore, for the Zhuang family bank. The whole family has an engagement with Zhuang Zuanji. Once Zhuang Zuanji dies, the whole family can take over the Zhuang family bank with a legitimate reason, Wandong Feng said. Is that so? I didn't expect the Nangguang family to be involved, I can't believe it. It seems that Nangguang Qiushu came to this Huangjia manor with the intention of investigating this Huangjia manor. A cold light flashed in Su Chen's eyes. His palm landed on the other's throat. Cracked and broke the other's throat. Anyone who dared to attack him would only die. I didn't expect that young Master Su had this trick. I really admire him. At this time, three figures flew out. The leader was Nangguang Wenchen. Beside him, in addition to Ho Wushan, there was also Ji Yui Lao who followed Nangguang Qiushu. Nangguang Wenchen, Su Chen's eyes condensed, looking at the person who appeared. Although he had never seen Nangguang Wenchen, but he had seen the information about the head of the Nangguang family. I didn't expect that it was the Nangguang family who planned this matter. It really makes me sigh. Su Chen looked at Nangguang Wenchen and said coldly. The Jiang who is like this. There are only eternal interests, but no eternal friends. Young Master Su, I am just teaching you a lesson. I hope young Master Su will understand before he dies. Nangguang Wenchen looked at Su Chen and said calmly. Well, Master Nangguang, are you going to take action? Su Chen smiled. Of course I have to take action. No one here will be spared. In fact, I also want to thank young Master Su for helping me kill the leaders of Remnant Dream, and the other shore. Once they die, my Nangguang family will be able to take over these two killer organizations, Nangguang Wenchen said. Previously, he only wanted to gradually infiltrate these two major killer organizations, but now the two leaders of Remnant Dream, and the other shore, have died here. This gives his Nangguang family an opportunity. Master Nangguang, I don't know where you get the confidence to kill me. Su Chen looked at him and said. Your time is running out. Of course I have the ability to kill you. The reason why I didn't retreat is that I was waiting for this opportunity, Nangguang Wenchen said coldly. Boom. While he was talking, Black and white Zhuangjian attacked Nangguang Wenchen. Jiu Ilao, who was beside Nangguang Wenchen, moved to stop black and white Zhuangjian. Black and white Zhuangjian's divine power burst out. When black and white Zhuangjian's divine power burst out, Jiu Ilao, who was stopping him, also burst out with divine power. This Jiu Ilao's divine power was a little different. His ki formed a kind of turtle shell, a kind of defense. At this moment, Nangguang Wenchen's divine power burst out. Nangguang Wenchen was a man of extraordinary talent. He practiced one of the 3 unique skills of the Nangguang family, Earth Yuan Xin Lai Gong. This skill was extremely powerful and could expand his own true energy by 3 times. And he created his own divine power based on his own skills, Earth Yuan Tian Gang. Using his own huge true energy to drive the divine power and suppress the opponent, this also made him occupy a place among the top C-level concentration masters. Of course, without such strength, he could not have been in charge of the Nangguang family for so many years. The head of an ancient family is a symbol of authority. How can he be in charge without strength? Boom. Around Su Chen, the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi were suppressed by the divine power displayed by Nangguang Wenchen. Nangguang Wenchen grabbed Su Chen with his palm. Boom. Just when his palm slapped over, Su Chen sneered, and the previously hidden Yankuang aura instantly burst out again. The terrifying aura suppressed Nangguang Wenchen's divine power. If you don't come out, you may still be able to live for a while, but if you come out, I will kill you first, and then I will destroy your Nangguang family. By the way, you are also very pathetic. Who made you meet me now? The big fish has been caught by fishing. Su Chen stopped talking nonsense and burst out strongly. Dare to show off when you use the Yankuang to experience card, too pathetic, can only be beaten to death by force. Boom. The fist burst out. The terrifying power penetrated Nangguang Wenchen's divine power. A punch hit the opponent's body. Bang! Nangguang Wenchen's body was blown away by a punch. Blood spurted from the corner of his mouth. With a look of horror, he didn't understand why the energy on Su Chen didn't disappear. The opponent's divine power was not simple, and his strength was not weak. Perhaps influenced by this world, Su Chen wanted to use the power of Yankuang to's broken level, but he vaguely sensed a bad premonition. So Su Chen did not burst out with all his strength. He punched the opponent away, and his figure shut out instantly, and his palm continued to fall. Nangguang Wenchen raised his arm to resist. But his arm touched Su Chen's palm, and there was a crack. Nangguang Wenchen's arm was broken. Then he moved his feet and kicked the opponent's waist directly. Bang! The body was kicked out. Su Chen followed up and grabbed the opponent's head with his palm. With a sudden force, he pressed the opponent's head on the ground shattered, and Nangguang Wenchen's head bled. Die! The true energy in Su Chen's palm burst out, shattering the opponent's head. Master, the old man Gui's expression changed, and he gave up the black and white Zhuangjian and wanted to come, but when the opponent moved, the black and white Zhuangjian suddenly shut out. The 2 swords were like a whirlwind, slashing out continuously. The opponent just turned around, causing the internal ki in his body to fluctuate, and was torn apart by the whirlwind sword blade, and the sword energy penetrated the opponent's body. Swish! A sword mark was left on the opponent's body. After a successful strike, the black and white Zhuangjian attack became more fierce, and his body was cut by the violent sword blade. As for Ho Wuxian, he wanted to escape, but his throat was pierced by a flying knife. He was weak, so Xiao Siwu could kill him. All the people who came at once died. At this time, 3 figures appeared in the courtyard. The Qinglong Society also had deployments in Jinling City. After receiving the news that there was a problem here, Li Zhenhun, Wei Zhuang, and A Fei quickly came. Upon learning that Li Zhenhun was born, A Fei rushed from the 9 northern counties. Chapter 725, Qinglong Society, Attack on Nangguang Family. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Li Zhenhun and others looked very bad. The atmosphere in the courtyard became depressing. Collect all the useful things on them, also mobilize manpower to destroy the Nangguang family today, Su Chen said. His voice was cold and domineering. He only had some time left to experience the Yankuang to experience card, so he must use this time to shock the world. Go! Su Chen was the emperor who gave orders at this moment. Yes, Li Zhenhun's face was also full of murderous intent. Although Li Zhenhun was a scholar, he was more of a wanderer in the world, and he killed the same number of people. Wei Zhuang fired a flare in his hand, and the sound was harsh. This was a signal to his killers. The injured Yuan Suan stood up with difficulty. Miss Zhuang, take Yuan Zhongguan to the secret room. You don't have to leave the secret room before we come back. Su Chen glanced at Zhuang Zuanji and shut out. Li Zunhun and others quickly followed him. Looking at Su Chen's disappearing back, Zhuang Zuanji's eyes moved slightly. Just now, the people of the Qinglong Club gathered, and the second dragon head Li Zunhun was also there, but it was Su Chen who gave the order just now. But there was worry in his eyes. The place where Su Chen went was the Nanguang family. The Nanguang family was one of the 4 major families in Jiangnan and had existed for a long time. Don't worry, the Nanguang family will be destroyed tonight. Yuan Suan's eyes flashed coldly. Su Chen is now using the experience card of Yan Kuang-tu, plus Li Zunhun. Others may not know Li Zunhun's strength, but he knows. The Nanguang family has a foundation. But what can he do? Just now, the second dragon head seemed to. Zhuang Zuanji wanted to say that the second dragon head seemed to listen to Su Chen's orders. Miss Zhuang, the headmaster has accepted you. I can tell you that the headmaster is not just the young dragon head of the Qinglong Club. I will go back to the secret room to heal my wounds and wait for the headmaster and others to return. Yuan Suan didn't say much, but revealed a little to Zhuang Zuanji. Zhuang Zuanji's expression slightly changed, and without asking any more questions, he followed Yuan Suan into the secret room and waited for Su Chen and the others to return. The large-scale appearance of the people from the Qinglong Club in this Huangjia Manor had attracted the attention of many people, and the atmosphere in this Huangjia Manor was fluctuating. People wanted to know what happened in this Huangjia Manor. When several figures rushed out of this Huangjia Manor and turned into residual images, some people quickly entered this Huangjia Manor to investigate. The bloody atmosphere filled the hall, which was full of corpses, especially in the hall. When the bodies of Nanguang Wenchen and others were found, the expressions of the people who investigated changed drastically. Nanguang Wenchen is dead. Spread the news here quickly. The people from the Qinglong Club should have gone to the Nanguang family, one person exclaimed. Then the observing figure left quickly. For a while, the news of the death of Nanguang Wenchen and others began to spread. In addition, the news that the people from the Qinglong Club were heading to the Nanguang family was also released. All the people who got the news gathered towards the Nanguang family. In the black market, some strong men who had not been out for many years also came out of seclusion quickly after hearing the news. Qinglong Society versus Nanguang family. This is definitely a shocking event in the martial arts world. The Nanguang family is not the Wuxian organization. It has a long history in Jiangnan and has a deep foundation. They had a premonition that something big was going to happen. Nanguang family Nanguang Qishu, who had already returned, suddenly felt a shock in his heart. Did something happen? Nanguang Qishu frowned slightly, and a worried look appeared on his face. Creak, the door was pushed open. Nanguang Yiren pushed the door open and saw Nanguang Qishu with a frown on her face. Sister, why are you back? Has my father finished dealing with things? Nanguang Yiren said. Something unexpected has happened. Su Chen has a strong man above Shineman coming to him and killed your master and the others. Father didn't take action before. He was waiting for the time when Su Chen came to him to pass before taking action. He was afraid that I would be in danger, so he asked me to return first, Nanguang Qishu said. Hearing this, Nanguang Yiren's face changed. Sister, you said that Su Chen has a strong man above Shineman coming to him. The person behind him is a strong man above Shineman, Nanguang Yiren asked in a deep voice. Yes, Nanguang Qishu nodded. No wonder he dares to appear in front all the time. It turns out that he has this support, but it is not so easy to have a strong man coming to him. After the strong man comes to him this time, I am afraid that he will not be able to have this support for a long time. The means used are not trump cards, but my heart was throbbing just now. I thought something happened. Father should be fine, Nanguang Yiren said. You are also throbbing. Hearing Nanguang Yiren's words, Nanguang Qishu's expression changed. Then he stood up and quickly came to the door. Go check the situation of the Zhuang family manor, Nanguang Qishu ordered the servant outside the door. Yes, the servant left quickly. As the first family in Jinling City, the Nanguang family occupies a vast area. The manor is divided into the inner manor and the outer manor. The inner manor is the ancestral temple of the Nanguang family, where some of the Nanguang family's strong men retreat. As an ancient family, the Nanguang family's strength is absolutely unquestionable, and there are many strong men. Otherwise, it would not be able to stand until now in the countless turmoil on the rivers and lakes. The outer manor is where the children of the Nanguang family live normally. Outside the manor, a figure walked out quickly. It was the person sent by Nanguang Qiushu to investigate the Zhuang family. But before he left the mansion and took a few steps, a flying knife pierced his throat and his body fell to the ground. Who is it? Several figures from the Nanguang family quickly came out to investigate the situation. But when these figures rushed out, the flying knives followed them. The figure who appeared covered his throat and fell to the ground. Su Chen's figure landed in front of the Nanguang family. Xiao Siwu stepped forward and pulled out all the flying knives that had just pierced the throats of these people. The blood on the flying knives was wiped clean on the other party one by one. Nanguang Mansion. The 3 words Nanguang Mansion were printed in gold on the Nanguang family's door plaque. Boom. At this time, behind Su Chen, Yajiyu Tajima Sho slashed with a sword. Bang. The Nanguang Mansion's door plaque and the gate were cut open by this sword. How dare you come to my Nanguang family? A low voice came from the Nanguang family, and then a middle-aged man in a tight suit rushed out with several people. The leader was a leader of the front yard guards of the Nanguang family's outer manor. He happened to be at the door and found that someone attacked the Nanguang family. He immediately brought people over. At this time, the lights in the Nanguang mansion began to light up. Kill. Yajiyu Tajima Sho held a long sword with both hands, rushed out in an instant, and killed the leading man, with his sword in his hand flashing. Swish. 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 The leading man and several of his men behind him were instantly pierced through the body by the sword energy and fell to the ground. They didn't even have the chance to send a signal. Su Chen led his men into the Nanguang family. The movement outside attracted the attention of the people in the Nanguang family. Enemy attack. Someone broke into my Nanguang family at night. Kill. Swish. One guard after another appeared, but all of them had their throats pierced. Su Chen and his men did not stop. As they moved forward, the Nanguang family guards appeared, either pierced through the throat by a flying knife or chopped in half by a sword from Yajiyu Tajima. The group quickly headed towards the Nanguang family's outer manor hall as if they were entering an empty space. The Nanguang family also noticed that they did not go to support, but quickly gathered in the direction of the outer manor hall. In the room, Nanguang Qiushu and Nanguang Yiren sensed the shouting and killing. Their expressions changed, looked at each other, and quickly walked out of the room. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.